Please, sir, buy my bike. Mommy hasn't eaten in 3 days. Grant froze. Not because of the rain. Not because of the cold. Because a 10-year-old girl just said the one sentence that breaks a man in half. He turned slowly. She stood there. Small. Soaking wet. Holding a red bicycle like it was the last thing keeping her alive. Her eyes locked onto his. No tears. Just truth. 3 days. He wanted to ask if she was lying. But he already knew the answer. What's your name? Sky. Where's your father? She didn't blink. He left when Mommy couldn't walk anymore. Before we dive into this story, tell us where in the world you're watching from and what time it is right now. Someone near you might be watching too. And don't forget to subscribe to support and appreciate the work we do on this channel. Grant's throat tightened. He looked at the bike. Old. Rusted in places. But someone had wiped it clean that morning. Someone who still believed things could be beautiful even when they're broken. How much do you want for it? Anything, sir. Just something for food. He pulled out his wallet. Took out enough to feed her for a month. Keep the bike. Take this. She stepped back. Mommy said never beg. Only trade. That's when it hit him. This child wasn't asking for mercy. She was offering dignity. He swallowed hard. Then I'll buy it. She handed him the bike with both hands. Gentle. Like she was giving away a piece of herself. Her fingers trembled. Not from the cold. From goodbye. Thank you, sir. Then she turned and ran. No smile. No wave. Just gone. Swallowed by the rain. Grant stood there holding a red bicycle and feeling like the richest man who'd ever been poor. He looked down at the handlebars. Tape wrapped around the grips. Someone's careful work. A heart that refused to quit even when the world did. His phone buzzed. Sir, meeting in 20 minutes. He didn't move. Couldn't. Because somewhere in this city, a mother hadn't eaten in 3 days. And her daughter just sold the only thing she had left to love. He threw the bike in his trunk. Sat in his car. And for the first time in 12 years, Grant felt something he thought had died. Hope. And rage. Both at the same time. He started the engine. But he didn't drive to the meeting. He drove back to that corner. Back to where she'd been standing. She was already gone. But the rain hadn't washed away her footprints yet. He whispered into the silence. I'm going to find you. And he meant it. That night, Grant couldn't sleep. Please, sir, buy my bike. The words replayed like a broken record. Over and over. Louder each time. He stared at the ceiling of his penthouse. Marble floors. Floor-to-ceiling windows. A view of the city that cost more than most people earned in a lifetime. But all he could see was her face. Sky. 10 years old and already carrying the weight of a grown woman. He sat up. Walked to the window. The city lights blinked below like stars that had fallen and forgotten how to rise. Somewhere out there, a mother hadn't eaten in 3 days. Somewhere out there, a little girl was trying to be strong enough for both of them. His phone sat on the nightstand. Silent. 73 unread emails. 12 missed calls. None of them mattered. He picked it up anyway. Scrolled through his contacts. Hundreds of names. Investors. Lawyers. Business partners. Not a single one he could call at 2 a.m. and say, I met a girl today who broke me. He put the phone down. Walked to the kitchen. Opened the fridge. Steak. Salmon. Organic vegetables he'd never eat. Enough food to feed a family for a week. He closed it. Suddenly felt sick. Mommy hasn't eaten in 3 days. He walked back to his room. Lay down. Closed his eyes. But every time he did, he saw her small hands trembling as she handed him that bike. He sat up again. This time, he didn't go back to bed. Morning came slow. Grant showered. Shaved. Put on a suit that cost more than that red bicycle. But when he looked in the mirror, he didn't recognize himself. His assistant called. "Sir, the Singapore deal needs your signature by noon. Reschedule it." "Sir?" "You heard me." He hung up. Grabbed his keys. Drove back to that corner. The rain had stopped. The street looked different in daylight. Broken pavement. Faded signs. A world the rich drove past without seeing. And there she was. Same corner. Same red bicycle. Same shy smile that didn't match the hunger in her eyes. Grant parked across the street. Watched her for a moment. She was cleaning the bike. Wiping the seat with a rag. Making it shine. He got out slowly. Walked toward her. She looked up. Recognized him instantly. "Sir?" He stopped. "Didn't I buy that bike yesterday?" She smiled. Not embarrassed. Just honest. "Mommy said we shouldn't take more than we need. I used half the money for food. The rest to fix it." Grant stared. Integrity. At 10 years old. In a world that had taken everything from her, she still refused to take more than she earned. "What's broken?" he asked. "The chain. It keeps slipping. But I think I got it now." He knelt beside her. Looked at the chain. She'd done it herself. Not perfect. But working. "You fixed this alone?" She nodded. "YouTube." He almost laughed. "Almost. Your mom teach you that?" "No. She can't move much. So I learn things myself." Grant's chest tightened again. He stood slowly. "What's your mom's name?" Sky hesitated. "Why?" "Just asking." She looked down. She doesn't like people asking about her. "Why not?" "Because people stare. And she hates that." Grant nodded. He understood that more than she knew. He pulled out his wallet again. "How much for the bike this time?" She smiled. "Same price, sir." He handed her the money. She took it. Folded it carefully. Put it in her pocket. Then handed him the bike. "Thank you, sir." She turned to leave. "Sky." She stopped. "Does your mom know you do this?" She looked back at him. Eyes older than they should be. "She knows we have to eat." Then she walked away. Grant stood there. Holding the same red bicycle. Watching a 10-year-old girl disappear into a world that didn't care if she survived. He drove off slowly. But his eyes stayed locked on the rearview mirror. The red bicycle sat in his trunk. A symbol he didn't yet understand. But one he couldn't ignore. That night, he couldn't sleep again. But this time, he didn't just lie there. He made a decision. Tomorrow, he'd follow her. Tomorrow, he'd find out who this mother was. And tomorrow, he'd understand why a girl like Sky had to sell the same bike twice just to survive. Because something told him this wasn't just about hunger. It was about something darker. Something stolen. And Grant had built an empire by finding what was stolen and taking it back. He started noticing her everywhere. Not by accident. Because he was looking. Monday morning. Grocery store on Fifth Avenue. She was there. Waiting near the clearance rack. The section where they marked things down before throwing them away. She stood patient. Quiet. Like she'd done this 100 times. When the manager brought out the cart, she was first in line. She picked through carefully. Checking dates. Reading labels. Took the freshest of the expired. Paid with crumpled bills and quarters she counted twice. Grant watched from behind a display of cereal boxes. His cart was full. Hers was a single plastic bag. She left without looking back. He followed. Tuesday. The bakery on Maple Street. She stood outside the window. Staring at the fresh bread. Not with desire. With calculation. A woman came out. The owner. Mid-50s. Kind eyes. Back again, sweetie? Sky nodded. Do you have any day-old bread? Let me check. The woman came back with a small paper bag. These didn't sell yesterday. Sky pulled out her dollar bills. Counted them slowly. The woman shook her head. It's on the house, honey. No, ma'am. Mommy says we pay for what we take. The woman's eyes softened. She took $2. Sky smiled. Thank you. Grant stood across the street. Pretending to read the paper. But his eyes never left her. That smile. It wasn't joy. It was relief. The kind that comes when you're not sure if today's the day you'll eat. Wednesday. The park. She sat on a bench. Red bicycle beside her. The chain had slipped again. She pulled out a small toolkit. Rusty. Borrowed or found. Worked on it herself. Grant sat 3 benches away. Watched her tiny hand struggle with the wrench. Watched her wipe sweat from her forehead. Watched her refuse to quit. A boy walked past. Maybe 12. Clean clothes. New sneakers. He looked at her bike and laughed. That thing still works? Sky didn't look up. Better than your mouth. The boy's smile faded. He walked off. Grant almost smiled. Almost. But then he saw her hands shake. Not from anger. From exhaustion. She finished fixing the chain. Stood. Tested it. It held. She looked at the bike like it was the only friend she had left. Then she rode off. Slow. Steady. Grant followed from a distance. Thursday. The farmer's market. She moved between stalls like a shadow. Checking prices. Never buying. Just learning. At the produce stand, she stopped. Stared at a bag of apples. The vendor noticed. You buying or window shopping? How much? $5. She looked at the bills in her hand. I have 3. He shook his head. Then keep moving. She nodded. Started to leave. Grant stepped forward. I'll take them. The vendor bagged the apples. Handed them to Grant. Grant turned. Sky was watching him. He walked over. Handed her the bag. You dropped these. She looked at him. I didn't buy those. I know. But your mom needs to eat, right? Her jaw tightened. Pride and hunger fighting a war in her eyes. I can't keep taking from you, sir. You're not taking. I'm trading. For what? For teaching me something. She frowned. What did I teach you? He knelt down. Looked her in the eyes. That dignity doesn't need money. She stared at him for a long moment. Then took the bag. Thank you. She walked away quickly. But this time, she looked back. Just once. Grant stood there. Heart pounding. Because in that one glance, he saw something. Recognition. Not of him. But of something in him. Something familiar. Friday. He followed her home. Through narrow streets. Past chain-link fences. Cracked sidewalks that never got fixed. She hummed softly. Unaware she was being followed. Her little red bicycle squeaked at every turn. The neighborhood got worse with each block. Paint peeling. Windows boarded. Doors that didn't lock anymore. Finally, she stopped. A crumbling apartment building. 4 stories. No elevator. Half the hallway lights were burned out. She climbed the stairs slowly. Balancing a small bag of groceries she'd stretched $3 to buy. 2nd floor. 3rd. 4th. She stopped at the last door on the left. Knocked twice. "Mommy, I'm back." The door opened. Grant stood at the bottom of the stairwell. Hidden in the shadows. Waiting. And then he heard it. A voice. Soft. Weak. But unmistakable. A voice he hadn't heard in 12 years. A voice that once said, "I'm choosing him, Grant. Not you." His knees almost buckled. No. It couldn't be. He stepped closer. Climbed the first step. Then the second. His heart hammered in his chest. At the 4th floor landing, he stopped. The door was still open. Just a crack. And through that crack, he saw her. A woman in a wheelchair. Frail. Thin. Worn by years of suffering. Hair tied loosely. Eyes weary but alive. She was smiling at Sky. "Did you eat today, baby?" "I will, Mommy. After you." The woman's hand trembled as she touched her daughter's face. "You're so strong, Sky. Stronger than I ever was." Grant's throat closed. Because he knew that face. Even broken. Even beaten by life. He knew her. He whispered into the silence. "Elara." Grant didn't sleep that night. He sat in his car outside that building until sunrise. Engine off. Windows cracked. Eyes locked on that 4th floor window. Elara. The woman who walked away from him 12 years ago. The woman who chose money over love. The woman who said he'd never be enough. Now she was in a wheelchair. Starving. Raising a daughter who sold her bike just to survive. He should have felt satisfaction. Karma had done its work. But all he felt was hollow. At 6 a.m., the door opened. Sky came out. Red bicycle in hand. Backpack over her shoulder. She rode off toward the elementary school 3 blocks down. Grant waited. An hour passed. Then the door opened again. A woman stepped out. Not Elara. She was older. 50 maybe. Dressed too well for this neighborhood. Gold earrings. Designer purse. Heels that clicked on the concrete. She knocked hard on Elara's door. "Open up. I know you're in there." Silence. The woman knocked again. Harder. "I'm not leaving until you pay me." The door cracked open. Elara's voice. Weak but steady. "I told you. I don't have it yet." The woman laughed. Cold. Sharp. "You never have it. But you always find a way to eat, don't you?" "I'm trying." "Trying isn't paying. You owe me 2 months' rent. Either you pay by Friday or you're out. Please. Just 1 more week." The woman leaned in close. You should have thought about that before you became a cripple. Grant's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Ilara's voice cracked. Don't call me that. Then prove me wrong. Stand up and pay me. The door slammed shut. The woman walked away. Smiling. Grant sat there. Blood boiling. He wanted to follow her. Wanted to confront her. But he didn't. Not yet. That afternoon, he followed Sky again. She stopped at a small diner on the corner. Stood outside. Peeking through the window. A waitress came out. You hungry, baby? Sky shook her head. Just looking. The waitress smiled. Come on. I got some fries that didn't get picked up. Sky's eyes lit up. Really? Yeah. But don't tell my boss. She handed Sky a small paper bag. Sky smiled so wide it broke Grant's heart. Thank you, ma'am. You eat those, okay? Don't save them for later. Sky nodded. But as soon as the waitress turned away, Sky wrapped the bag carefully. Put it in her backpack. Grant knew exactly what she was doing. Saving them for her mother. He followed her to the library next. She sat at a computer. Typed slowly. Searched for something. Grant moved closer. Stayed hidden behind a bookshelf. The screen read, How to Help Someone in a Wheelchair Walk Again. She clicked through articles. Videos. Forums. Her face was focused. Determined. She took notes on a crumpled piece of paper. Wrote down exercises. Therapy techniques. Costs. Then she searched something else. How much does physical therapy cost? The number came up. $150 per session. She stared at it for a long time. Then closed the browser. Grabbed her backpack. Left. Grant stood there. Watching a 10-year-old girl trying to save her mother with Google searches and hope. He followed her home again. This time, he didn't stay in the car. He climbed the stairs. Stood outside the door. Heard voices inside. Sky's voice. Bright. Hopeful. Mommy, I brought you fries. Ilara's voice. Soft. Broken. Baby, you need to eat. I already did. These are for you. Sky. Please, Mommy. Just eat them. Silence. Then the sound of Ilara crying. Not loud. Just quiet tears that came from a place too deep for words. I'm so sorry, baby. I'm so sorry you have to live like this. It's okay, Mommy. I don't mind. You shouldn't have to sell your bike. You shouldn't have to take care of me. I should be taking care of you. You do, Mommy. Every day. Grant's hand hovered over the door. He wanted to knock. Wanted to walk in and say, I'm here. I can fix this. But he didn't. Because he knew Ilara. She wouldn't accept his help. Not out of pride. Out of shame. So he stood there. Listening. And for the first time in 12 years, he understood something. Ilara didn't leave him because he wasn't enough. She left because she thought she wasn't. The next morning, he saw her again. Not Sky. Ilara. She was outside. In her wheelchair. Alone. Struggling to move down the ramp. Her arms shook with effort. She made it halfway. Then stopped. Breathing hard. Grant stepped out of the shadows. Need help? She looked up. Her face went pale. Grant? He stepped closer. Heart pounding. Yeah. It's me. She stared at him like she'd seen a ghost. What are you doing here? He knelt down. Looked her in the eyes. I've been following your daughter. Her face went from shock to panic. Why? What do you want? He swallowed hard. I want to know what happened to you. Tears filled her eyes. You don't want to know. I do. She looked away. I made my choice, Grant. I chose him. I chose comfort. And look where it got me. He said nothing. She continued. Voice cracking. He gave me everything. A house. A car. A ring. Then one day, I got pregnant. And he changed. Grant's jaw tightened. He said I wasn't fun anymore. That I was getting fat. Ugly. Useless. She wiped her eyes. One night, we fought. He pushed me. I fell down the stairs. Grant's fists clenched. My legs never worked after that. And he left. Took everything. Left me with nothing but sky. She looked up at him. Eyes red. Broken. So there. Now you know. The woman who left you for a better life ended up with no life at all. Grant stared at her. Then he did something she didn't expect. He reached out. And gently pushed her wheelchair forward. Let me help you. She shook her head. I don't deserve your help. Maybe not. But your daughter does. Her lips trembled. Why are you doing this? He stopped. Looked down at her. Because 12 years ago, I loved you. And I never stopped wondering if you were okay. Tears streamed down her face. I'm not okay, Grant. I haven't been okay in years. He knelt beside her again. Then let me help you be okay. She covered her face with her hands. And for the first time in 12 years, Ilara let herself break. They sat in silence. Grant pushed her wheelchair to a bench near the building. The morning air was cold. The street was quiet. Ilara stared at her hands. Grant stared at the skyline. Neither knew where to start. Finally, Ilara spoke. You're different. Grant glanced at her. How? You look expensive. He almost laughed. That's one way to put it. Did you make it? The dreams you used to talk about? He nodded slowly. Yeah. I did. She smiled faintly. Sad. Distant. I'm glad. Are you? She looked at him. I am. You deserved it. He said nothing. She continued. I didn't. And I know that now. Grant's voice was low. What happened to him? The man you left me for. Ilara's jaw tightened. Victor. The name felt like poison on her tongue. He's still around. Living in the penthouse I used to share with him. Married now. To someone younger. Prettier. Someone who can walk. Grant's hands clenched. Does he know about Sky? He knows. He just doesn't care. Does he pay child support? She laughed bitterly. He pays his lawyer to make sure he doesn't have to. Grant's voice dropped. Where is he now? Why? You planning to confront him? He looked at her. Eyes hard. Maybe. She shook her head. Don't. He's not worth it. He hurt you. He abandoned his daughter. He's worth something. Revenge won't fix my legs, Grant. He leaned forward. No. But it'll make sure he pays for what he did. She looked away. I don't want your pity. It's not pity. Then what is it? He paused. Chose his words carefully. It's unfinished business. She stared at him, searching his face for a lie. But there wasn't one. You still care, she whispered. I never stopped. Her eyes filled with tears. You should hate me. I tried. For years. But I couldn't. She covered her face. Why not? He smiled faintly. Because hate takes more energy than I had. And every time I tried, I just remembered the girl who used to laugh at my terrible jokes. She let out a sound between a laugh and a sob. You still tell terrible jokes? Worse now. Success didn't help. She smiled. A real one. Small. Fragile. But real. Then it faded. Grant, you can't fix this. I'm broken. Sky deserves better than a mother who can't even stand. He knelt in front of her wheelchair. Looked her dead in the eyes. Sky doesn't need a mother who can stand. She needs a mother who fights. And you've been fighting for 10 years. Ilara's lips trembled. I'm tired. I know. I don't know how much longer I can do this. He reached out. Took her hand. It was cold. Shaking. Then let me carry some of the weight. She pulled her hand back. Why? Why would you do that for me? After everything I did to you? He stood slowly. Because 12 years ago, I asked you to marry me. And you said no. But I never stopped meaning those vows. Her breath caught. Grant. I'm not asking you to love me, Ilara. I'm not even asking you to forgive yourself. I'm just asking you to let me help. She looked up at him. Eyes red. Face pale. What do you want in return? Nothing. People don't help for nothing. I'm not people. She stared at him for a long moment. Then whispered, You're insane. He smiled. Probably. That evening, Grant returned. He brought groceries. Real ones. Fresh bread. Milk. Eggs. Vegetables. Fruit. Enough to last a week. Sky opened the door. Eyes wide. Sir? He smiled. Can I come in? She looked back at her mother. Ilara nodded slowly. Grant stepped inside. The apartment was small. One bedroom. A couch that doubled as Sky's bed. A kitchen barely big enough for 2 people. But it was clean. Ilara had made it a home with what little she had. Grant set the bags on the counter. I thought you two could use some real food. Sky peeked inside the bags. Her face lit up. Mommy, look. He brought strawberries. Ilara's voice was quiet. Grant, you didn't have to. I wanted to. She looked at him. Torn between pride and desperation. Sky pulled out the strawberries. Held them up like treasure. Can I have one, Mommy? Ilara's voice cracked. Yes, baby. Sky bit into one. Closed her eyes. It's so good. Grant watched her. Throat tight. When was the last time this kid tasted something sweet? Ilara wheeled closer. Thank you. He nodded. There's more where that came from. I can't keep taking from you. You're not taking. I'm giving. There's a difference. She looked down. I don't know how to repay you. You don't have to. Sky walked over. Strawberry juice on her fingers. Sir, are you Mommy's friend? Grant glanced at Ilara. She didn't answer. So he did. I used to be. A long time ago. Sky tilted her head. What happened? Ilara's voice was soft. Life happened, baby. Sky looked between them, sensing something she didn't understand. Then she smiled. Well, I'm glad you're back. Grant's chest ached. Me too, kid. Later that night, after Sky fell asleep, Grant and Alara sat in the small kitchen. A single lamp flickered overhead. Alara poured 2 cups of tea. Her hands still shook. I'm scared, she said quietly. Of what? That you'll wake up one day and realize I'm not worth saving. Grant took a sip. I don't think that's going to happen. How do you know? Because I've been waking up for 12 years wishing I'd fought harder to keep you. She looked at him, eyes glistening. I didn't deserve you then. I don't deserve you now. Maybe. But Sky does. She smiled sadly. You keep saying that. Because it's true. Silence settled between them. Then Alara spoke. Voice barely a whisper. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I'd said yes? Grant stared into his cup. Every day. What do you think? He looked up. Met her eyes. I think we would have struggled. I think we would have fought. I think there would have been nights where we didn't know how we'd make rent. He paused. But I think we would have been happy. A tear rolled down her cheek. I made the wrong choice. He reached across the table. Took her hand again. You made the choice you thought was right. That's all any of us can do. She squeezed his hand. I'm sorry, Grant. I know. Do you forgive me? He smiled faintly. I forgave you the day I saw your daughter selling her bike in the rain. Alara broke. Not loud. Just silent tears streaming down her face. Grant stood. Walked around the table. Knelt beside her wheelchair. You're not alone anymore, Alara. She looked at him. Broken. Hopeful. Terrified. Promise? He nodded. Promise. She leaned forward. Rested her head on his shoulder. And for the first time in 12 years, Alara felt safe. 3 days passed. Grant came every evening. Brought food. Fixed things that were broken. Listened. Sky started calling him Mr. Grant. Alara started smiling more. But something was still unspoken. A weight neither of them could lift alone. Thursday night. Rain tapped against the window. Sky was asleep on the couch. Covered in a blanket Grant had bought. Alara sat by the window. Staring out at the wet streets. Grant stood in the doorway. Watching her. You okay? She didn't turn. I need to tell you something. His stomach tightened. What? She wheeled herself to the small kitchen table. Gestured for him to sit. He did. She took a breath. Let it out slow. I left because I was scared. Grant frowned. Of what? Of being poor forever. Of watching you struggle. Of not having enough. He said nothing. She continued. Voice shaking. Victor had money. Lots of it. A nice car. A big house. He promised me I'd never have to worry again. She looked down at her hands. And I believed him. I thought love wasn't enough. I thought I needed security. Grant's jaw tightened. Did he give you that? She laughed bitterly. For a while. Then I got pregnant. And everything changed. Her voice cracked. He said I was getting fat. That I wasn't fun anymore. That I trapped him. Grant's fists clenched under the table. One night, I told him I was keeping the baby. That I didn't care what he thought. She paused. Eyes distant. Reliving it. He grabbed me. Shoved me toward the stairs. I tried to catch myself. But I couldn't. Tears streamed down her face. I remember falling. I remember hitting each step. I remember the sound my body made when I landed. Grant's throat closed. I woke up in the hospital. The doctors said my spine was damaged. That I might never walk again. She wiped her eyes. Victor came once. Looked at me like I was broken furniture. Then he left. I never saw him again. Grant's voice was low. Dangerous. Where is he now? Grant. Where is he? She hesitated. The Apex Tower. Penthouse suite. He lives there with his new wife. Grant stood. What are you doing? What I should have done 12 years ago. She grabbed his arm. Don't. Please. He's not worth it. He looked down at her. Eyes blazing. He hurt you. He left his daughter to starve. He's worth every second of what I'm about to do. Grant, listen to me. No. You listen. I let you walk away once. I'm not letting him get away with what he did. She pulled harder. And what happens when you confront him? He calls the cops. You get arrested. Then what? Who helps Sky then? That stopped him. He stood there. Fists shaking. Ilara's voice softened. I don't need revenge, Grant. I just need my daughter to be safe. He knelt beside her wheelchair. He needs to pay. He will. Life has a way of making people pay. He shook his head. Not fast enough. She touched his face. Gently. You being here is enough. He closed his eyes. Breathed. I want to kill him. I know. I want to make him feel what you felt. I know. I want. She pressed her finger to his lips. I know. Silence. Then she whispered. But if you do that, you become him. And I can't lose you again. His eyes opened. Met hers. You really think I'd come back? She smiled faintly. I'm hoping you would. He stared at her. Then slowly, he sat back down. Tell me everything. What? Everything he did. Everything he said. Everything he took. I want to know. She hesitated. Why? Because if I can't make him bleed, I'll make him pay another way. She talked for 2 hours. Told him about the manipulations. The control. The isolation. How Victor made her cut off her friends. Her family. Anyone who questioned him. How he convinced her she was lucky to be with him. How he made her feel small. Stupid. Worthless. Grant listened. Didn't interrupt. Every word she spoke carved deeper into his chest. When she finished, she looked drained. He took everything from me, Grant. My legs. My dignity. My future. He leaned forward. What's his business? She blinked. What? Victor. What does he do? Real estate. Development. He owns half the buildings downtown. Grant's mind raced. Does he have partners? A few. Why? Names. She rattled off 3 names. Grant memorized them. What are you planning? She asked. He stood. Something he'll never see coming. Grant. He turned. Looked at her with a calm that was more terrifying than anger. You said life makes people pay. I'm just going to speed up the process. The next morning, Grant made a call. Marcus. It's Grant. Grant. Long time. What's up? I need information on someone. Victor Harlow. Pause. The real estate guy? Yeah. What do you need? Everything. Business partners. Financials. Scandals. Anything that can bury him. Marcus whistled. You going to war? Something like that. Give me 48 hours. You got 24. Grant. 24, Marcus. And I'll pay triple. Done. Grant hung up. Sat back in his chair. Stared at the skyline. Victor Harlow had no idea what was coming. But he was about to find out. That evening, Grant returned to Alara's apartment. She looked at him. Suspicious. What did you do? He smiled. Calm. Controlled. Nothing yet. Grant. Relax. I'm not doing anything stupid. Then what are you doing? He sat down. Leaned forward. I'm doing what I do best. I'm playing the game. And I'm going to win. She stared at him. What game? His game. The one he's been playing for years. Manipulation. Power. Control. He smiled. Cold. Only this time, he's playing against someone who's better at it. Alara's eyes widened. You're going after his business. I'm going after everything. Grant, that's dangerous. So is pushing a pregnant woman down the stairs. She went quiet. He reached across the table. Took her hand. Trust me. She looked at him. Scared. Hopeful. What if you lose? He squeezed her hand. I won't. Later that night, Skye woke up. Rubbed her eyes. Saw them sitting together. Mr. Grant? You're still here? He smiled. Yeah, kid. I'm still here. She walked over. Climbed into his lap without asking. He froze. Alara smiled softly. Skye yawned. Are you staying forever? Grant looked at Alara. She didn't answer. He looked down at Skye. I'm staying as long as you need me. Skye smiled. Good. Because mommy smiles more when you're here. His throat tightened. Alara wiped her eyes. Skye fell back asleep in his arms. And for the first time in 12 years, Grant realized something. He wasn't just fighting for Alara. He was fighting for the family he never had. 22 hours later, Marcus called. I got it. Grant was in his office. City lights stretched out below him. Talk. Victor Harlow. Real estate mogul. Net worth around 40 million. But here's the thing, most of it's leveraged. He's drowning in debt. Grant leaned forward. Go on. He's got 3 major properties under development. All of them bleeding money. He's been juggling investors, hiding losses, falsifying reports. Proof. Emails. Bank statements. I've got it all. Grant smiled. Send it to me. Already did. But Grant, there's more. What? His new wife? She doesn't know about Skye. He told her he never had kids. Grant's grip tightened on the phone. He erased his own daughter. Looks like it. Grant's voice went cold. Thanks, Marcus. What are you going to do? What I should have done years ago. He hung up. Opened his laptop. Read through every document Marcus sent. Every lie. Every cover-up. Every stolen dollar. Victor Harlow was a house of cards. And Grant was about to blow. The next morning, Grant drove to the apex tower. Pulled up in his black Mercedes. The doorman stepped forward. "Can I help you, sir? I'm here to see Victor Harlow. Do you have an appointment?" Grant smiled. "Tell him an old friend is here. From Alara." The doorman's expression flickered. He picked up the phone. Spoke quietly. A minute later, he nodded. "He'll see you. Penthouse level. Top floor." Grant stepped into the elevator. Watched the numbers climb. His heart was steady. His mind clear. This wasn't rage anymore. This was justice. The elevator opened into a massive penthouse. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Marble floors. Modern art on the walls. Everything spotless. Expensive. Empty. A man stood by the window. Mid-40s. Tailored suit. Graying at the temples. He turned. Smiled. "I have to admit, I didn't expect to hear that name again." Grant stepped forward. "Victor Harlow." Victor extended his hand. "And you are?" Grant didn't shake it. "Grant Reed." Victor's smile faded slightly. "Should I know you?" "No. But you knew Alara." Victor's jaw tightened. "Ah. So that's what this is about." "Yeah. That's what this is about." Victor walked to a bar. Poured himself whiskey. "Want one?" "No." He shrugged. Took a sip. "So what do you want?" "Money? Because if Alara sent you here to squeeze me." "She didn't send me." Victor smirked. "Then what? You her new boyfriend?" "Here to defend her honor." Grant's fists clenched. Victor laughed. "Relax. I'm just messing with you. Look, whatever she told you. You pushed her down the stairs." Victor stopped mid-sip. "That's a serious accusation." "It's the truth." Victor set his glass down. "You know what your problem is? You're listening to a woman who can't accept that she made bad choices. She made one bad choice. You." Victor's eyes darkened. "Watch yourself." Grant stepped closer. "Or what? You'll push me too?" Victor's smile returned. Cold. Sharp. "You've got guts. I'll give you that. But you're wasting your time. Alara and I had a relationship. It ended. She fell. Accidents happen. You left her. I moved on. You abandoned your daughter." Victor's face went blank. "I don't have a daughter." Grant stared at him. "Sky. 10 years old. Looks just like you." Victor's jaw tightened. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." Victor picked up his glass again. Took a long drink. "Even if that were true, which I'm not saying it is, what do you want me to do about it?" "I want you to take responsibility." Victor laughed. Hard. Bitter. Responsibility? For what? A woman who trapped me? A kid I never asked for? Grant's voice dropped. Dangerous. That kid is selling her bike to feed her mother. While you live here. Victor shrugged. Not my problem. Grant stepped closer. It's about to be. Victor's smile faded. Is that a threat? Grant pulled out his phone. Held it up. These are financial documents. Your financials. Falsified reports. Investor fraud. Embezzlement. Victor's face went pale. Where did you get those? Doesn't matter. What matters is what I do with them. Victor's voice went hard. You're bluffing. Grant tapped his phone. One email. That's all it takes. I send this to the SEC, the FBI, your investors, your partners. Your empire collapses by tomorrow. Victor's hands shook. You wouldn't. Try me. Silence. Victor stared at him. Calculating. Desperate. What do you want? Grant stepped forward. I want you to pay child support. I want you to set up a trust for Sky. I want you to cover Ilara's medical bills. That's extortion. No. That's fatherhood. You should try it. Victor's face twisted. And if I refuse? Grant smiled. Cold. Then I bury you. Victor poured another drink. Hands trembling. How much? 5,000 a month. And 100,000 for the trust. Victor laughed bitterly. You're insane. I'm fair. You stole 12 years from them. This is nothing. Victor drank. Stared out the window. Then he turned. Fine. Fine. I'll do it. But I want those files destroyed. Grant shook his head. No deal. I keep the files. Insurance. In case you forget. Victor's eyes blazed. You son of. Careful. I'm doing you a favor. I could have gone to the cops. But I didn't. Because Sky doesn't need her father in prison. She just needs him to act like a man. Victor slammed his glass down. Get out. Grant turned. Walked toward the elevator. Victor's voice stopped him. Does she know? Ilara. Does she know you're here? Grant looked back. No. Why not? Because she'd try to stop me. Victor's smile was bitter. She always was too soft. Grant's eyes went cold. No. She's stronger than you'll ever be. The elevator doors closed. Grant drove back to Ilara's apartment. His hands were steady. His mind clear. He knocked. Ilara opened the door. Saw his face. What did you do? He stepped inside. What needed to be done? Grant. He handed her a folder. She opened it. Inside was a bank statement. A trust account. Sky's name on it. Her hands shook. What is this? Victor's paying child support. 5,000 a month. And there's 100,000 in a trust for Sky's future. Her eyes went wide. How? Don't ask. Tears streamed down her face. Grant, you didn't. I didn't hurt him. I just made him remember he's a father. She covered her mouth. Sobbing. I can't believe. He knelt beside her. Believe it. You're not fighting alone anymore. She looked at him. Eyes red. Grateful. Terrified. What if he comes after you? Grant smiled. Let him try. Sky ran in from the other room. Mommy, why are you crying? Ilara wiped her eyes. Happy tears, baby. Sky looked at Grant. Did you make Mommy happy? He nodded. I tried. She hugged him. Thank you, Mr. Grant. He held her. Throat tight. Ilara watched them. And for the first time in 10 years, she believed things might actually be okay. 2 days later, the first payment arrived. Ilara stared at her phone. Bank notification. $5,000 deposited. Her hands trembled. She wheeled to the window. Looked out at the street. For 10 years, she'd fought alone. Scraped. Struggled. Survived. Now, in 2 days, everything had changed. Because of him. She heard footsteps on the stairs. A knock. She opened the door. Grant stood there, holding a manila envelope. "What's this?" she asked. "Property deed." Her eyes widened. "What?" He stepped inside. Set it on the table. "I bought this building." She stared at him. "You what?" "The landlady. The one who called you a cripple. She doesn't own it anymore." "I do." Ilara's mouth opened. Closed. No words came out. Grant continued. "You don't owe rent anymore. This apartment is yours. Free and clear." She shook her head. "Grant, I can't." "You're not." "I am." "That's not how this works." "It is now." She wheeled backward. "Stop. Just stop." He looked at her. "What's wrong?" "This." She gestured around. "All of this. You can't just swoop in and fix my life." "Why not?" "Because I don't deserve it." The words hung in the air. Grant knelt in front of her. "Says who?" Her voice cracked. "Me. I left you. I chose money. I chose comfort. I chose wrong. And this," she gestured to her legs, "this is what I deserve." "No." "Yes. This is my punishment, Grant. For being stupid. For being greedy. For..." He grabbed her hands. "Stop." She tried to pull away. "Let go. Listen to me." Tears streamed down her face. "I can't accept this. I can't let you save me." "Why?" "Because I don't know how to repay you." He stared at her. Then spoke quietly. "I'm not asking you to." She sobbed. "That's the problem. You give and I have nothing to give back." He squeezed her hands. "You gave me something already." "What?" "A reason to feel human again." She looked at him through tears. He continued. "For 12 years, I built an empire. Made millions. Won every deal. And I felt nothing. Empty. Hollow." He paused. "Then I met your daughter. And she reminded me what matters." Ilara covered her face. Grant's voice softened. "You think you don't deserve this. But Sky does. And if helping you means helping her, then I'm not stopping." She shook her head. "You're going to regret this." "I've regretted a lot of things. This won't be one of them." She looked at him. Broken. Vulnerable. "Why are you really doing this?" He smiled faintly. "Because 12 years ago, I loved you. And some part of me still does." Her breath caught. "Grant. I'm not asking you to love me back. I'm not asking for anything. I just need you to let me do this." She stared at him for a long moment. Then whispered. "Okay. Okay?" She nodded. "But only because Sky needs it." He smiled. "That's good enough for me." That afternoon, the landlady returned. She knocked hard. "Ilara. Open up." Ilara opened the door. The woman barged in. "I'm here for the rent. And don't give me excuses." She stopped. Grant stood in the kitchen. Arms crossed. The woman frowned. "Who are you?" "The new owner." Her face went pale. "What?" Grant stepped forward. "I bought this building yesterday. Which means you no longer work here." The woman laughed nervously. "You're joking." He pulled out a document. "This is the deed. Signed. Notarized. Legal." She snatched it. "Read it." Her face drained of color. You can't do this. I already did. I've been managing this place for 15 years. And now you're not. Her eyes blazed. You think you can just throw me out? Grant's smile was cold. I'm not throwing you out. I'm firing you. There's a difference. She turned to Elara. You put him up to this? Elara said nothing. The woman sneered. Of course. The cripple always finds someone to rescue her. Grant's voice went ice cold. Call her that again. The woman turned to him. Excuse me? Say it again. I dare you. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Grant stepped closer. You've spent years making her feel worthless. That ends now. Who do you think you are? Someone with better lawyers than you. The woman's hands shook. This isn't over. Grant pulled out his phone. You're right. It's not. Because I also have recordings. Every time you harassed her. Every slur. Every threat. Her eyes went wide. One call to a lawyer, and you'll be fighting lawsuits for the next 5 years. Or, he paused, you can leave quietly. Right now. She stared at him. Fury. Fear. Defeat. Finally, she turned. Walked to the door. Stopped. Looked back at Elara. You don't deserve him. Then she left. Silence. Elara stared at the closed door. Then at Grant. You recorded her? He shrugged. No. But she doesn't know that. Elara laughed. A real one. Full and genuine. You're insane. He smiled. You keep saying that. She wheeled toward him. Thank you. You're welcome. She looked up at him. Eyes soft. Grateful. I don't know what I did to deserve you. He knelt beside her. You didn't do anything. You just existed. And that was enough. That evening, Sky came home from school. She ran inside. Mommy. Guess what? Elara smiled. What, baby? A boy in my class said I could join the bike club. Can I? Please. Elara's smile faded. Sweetie, we don't have money for. Grant stepped out from the kitchen. What kind of bike do you need? Sky's eyes lit up. Mr. Grant. You're here. Always. Now tell me about this bike. It's for racing. They do races every Saturday. But you need a racing bike. Not like my old one. Grant pulled out his phone. What color? Sky blinked. What? What color bike do you want? Her mouth opened. You're going to buy me one? If your mom says it's okay. Elara looked at him. Grant, you don't have to. I know. But I want to. Sky looked at her mother. Eyes pleading. Elara sighed. Smiled. Okay. Sky screamed. Jumped. Hugged Grant so hard he almost fell over. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He laughed. You haven't even picked a color yet. Blue. No, red. No, can I get both? Elara laughed. One bike, Sky. Fine. Red. Like my old one. But shiny. Grant smiled. Done. Sky ran to her room. Already talking about races. Elara watched her go. Then looked at Grant. You're spoiling her. She deserves to be spoiled. Elara's voice softened. She's never had anyone do this for her. Now she does. She wheeled closer. Looked up at him. You know she's going to get attached to you. He knelt down. Met her eyes. Good. Because I'm already attached to her. Elara's eyes filled with tears. What if you leave? I won't. How do you know? He smiled. Because I've spent 12 years running from the past. I'm done running. She reached out. Touched his face. Promise me. I promise. She pulled him closer. Rested her forehead against his. Thank you, she whispered. He closed his eyes. You're welcome. For the first time in 10 years, Elara felt something she thought was gone forever. Hope. Days turned into weeks. Grant came every evening. Sometimes with groceries. Sometimes with nothing but time. He fixed the broken cabinet in the kitchen. Replaced the flickering light in the hallway. Sat with Sky while she did homework. Elara watched him. Quietly. Carefully. Watching a man who had every reason to hate her choose love instead. 3 weeks in, Sky got her new bike. Red. Shiny. Perfect. She rode it in circles around the parking lot. Look, Mommy. I'm so fast. Elara sat in her wheelchair. Smiling. Crying. Grant stood beside her. She's a natural. She's happy, Elara whispered. I haven't seen her this happy in years. She deserves it. Elara looked at him. So do you. He glanced down. What do you mean? You've done so much for us. But what about you? What do you need? He was quiet for a moment. Then spoke softly. I need to know you're okay. I am. Because of you. He shook his head. Not just financially. I mean really okay. She looked down at her hands. I don't know if I'll ever be okay, Grant. Why not? Because every time I look at Sky, I see what I stole from her. A normal childhood. A father. A mother who can run with her. Grant knelt beside her wheelchair. You didn't steal anything. You gave her everything you had. It wasn't enough. It was more than enough. She wiped her eyes. How do you do that? Do what? Make me believe things I don't believe about myself. He smiled faintly. Because I see you the way Sky sees you. Not broken. Just strong in a different way. Her breath caught. Before she could respond, Sky rode over. Mr. Grant. Will you race me? He stood. Race you? You've got a brand new bike. That's not fair. Then I'll give you a head start. He laughed. Deal. He jogged ahead. Sky counted down. 3, 2, 1, go. She pedaled hard. Caught up to him in seconds. Passed him. Won by a mile. She threw her hands up. I win. Grant bent over. Pretending to be out of breath. You're too fast. Sky beamed. I know. Elara laughed from her chair. For a moment, they looked like a family. And it terrified her. That night, after Sky went to bed, Grant and Elara sat at the kitchen table. Tea cooling in their cups. Silence between them. But not uncomfortable. Elara spoke first. Can I ask you something? Anything. Why did you never get married? Grant paused. That's a heavy question. You don't have to answer. He sighed. I was engaged once. 5 years ago. Elara's eyes widened. What happened? She wanted me to change. Be less focused on work. Be more present. That doesn't sound unreasonable. It wasn't. But I couldn't do it. Why? He looked at her. Because every time I tried to love her, I kept comparing her to someone else. Ilara's throat tightened. Who? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. She looked away. Grant. You asked. I shouldn't have. No. You should. Because you need to know. Know what? He leaned forward. That for 12 years, I compared every woman to you. And none of them came close. Tears filled her eyes. That's not fair. No. It's not. But it's the truth. I don't deserve that kind of loyalty. Maybe not. But you got it anyway. She covered her face. Why didn't you move on? I tried. I really did. But every time I thought I was over you, something would remind me. A song. A smell. A laugh. He paused. And then I met your daughter. And I realized I was never supposed to move on. I was supposed to find my way back. Ilara sobbed. You're making this so hard. Making what hard? Not falling for you again. His heart stopped. She looked at him through tears. I can't do this, Grant. I can't let myself love you again. Why not? Because what if you wake up one day and realize I'm not worth it? What if you leave? What if? He reached across the table. Took her hands. I'm not going anywhere. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. People leave, Grant. Victor left. My friends left. Everyone leaves. I'm not everyone. She shook her head. You say that now. I'll say it every day for the rest of my life if that's what it takes. She stared at him. Why? Because 12 years ago, I asked you to marry me. You said no. But I never stopped meaning it. Her lips trembled. Grant. I'm not asking you to marry me now. I'm just asking you to let me stay. She pulled her hands back. I don't know if I can. Why? Because if I let you in and you leave, it'll break me. And I can't afford to be more broken than I already am. He stood. Walked around the table. Knelt in front of her. Then let me prove it. How? By being here. Every day. Until you believe me. She looked at him. Searching his eyes for a lie. But there wasn't one. What if I never believe you? He smiled. Then I'll keep trying. She laughed through tears. You're impossible. You're worth it. She reached out. Touched his face. I'm scared. I know. What if I hurt you again? Then I'll forgive you again. She shook her head. You shouldn't. Too late. She pulled him closer. Rested her forehead against his. I don't deserve you. Stop saying that. It's true. No. It's fear talking. And I get it. But Ilara, he pulled back, looked her in the eyes, I'm not Victor. I'm not your friends. I'm the guy who waited 12 years for a second chance. She closed her eyes. What if I can't give you what you want? I don't want anything except this. Right here. You. Sky. This moment. She opened her eyes. That's all? That's everything. She stared at him for a long moment. Then whispered. Okay. Okay? Stay. Prove it. But if you hurt her. I won't. Or if you leave. I won't. I'll never forgive you. He smiled. I'll take that deal. She laughed softly. You're crazy. For you? Always. Later that night, Grant stood outside on the fire escape. City lights flickered below. He pulled out his phone. Stared at the screen. Marcus had sent one more file. Victor's mistress. Affairs. More lies. Grant could send it to his wife. Destroy him completely. His finger hovered over the send button. Then he heard the door open behind him. Elara wheeled out. What are you doing? He put his phone away. Just thinking. About what? He looked at her. How lucky I am. She smiled. Liar. He laughed. Okay. I was thinking about Victor. Her smile faded. What about him? I have information. About his affairs. I could destroy his marriage. Are you going to? He was quiet. Then shook his head. No. Why not? Because he's not worth it. And more importantly, he looked at her, I'd rather spend my energy building something than destroying him. She wheeled closer. You've changed. So have you. Not by choice. Maybe. But you're stronger now than you ever were. She looked out at the city. I don't feel strong. That's because you're looking at what you lost. Not what you survived. She smiled faintly. When did you become so wise? When I met a 10-year-old girl who taught me that dignity doesn't need money. Elara reached out. Took his hand. Thank you. For what? For seeing me. Not the wheelchair. Not the mistakes. Just me. He squeezed her hand. That's the only version I've ever seen. They sat in silence. The city hummed below them. And for the first time in 12 years, both of them felt something they thought was impossible. Peace. Sky's laughter became the soundtrack of Grant's life. Every evening, he'd hear it before he even reached the door. High. Pure. Unfiltered joy. The sound of a child who finally felt safe. One Saturday morning, Sky ambushed him at the door. Mr. Grant. Come quick. He barely stepped inside before she grabbed his hand. What's going on? I made something for you. She dragged him to the kitchen table. A drawing. Crayon. Messy but beautiful. 3 stick figures. One in a wheelchair. One standing tall. One small with a big smile. Above them, she'd written in shaky letters, my family. Grant's throat closed. Elara sat at the table. Eyes already red. Sky pointed at each figure. That's Mommy. That's you. That's me. Grant knelt down. This is really good, Sky. Do you like it? He looked at her. I love it. She beamed. Can you hang it in your office? He nodded. Front and center. She hugged him. Then ran off to play. Grant stood slowly. Stared at the drawing. Elara wheeled closer. She's been working on that all week. He didn't look away from the picture. She called me family. I know. Elara. I tried to tell her you're just a friend. But she didn't believe me. He finally looked at her. Why not? Because she's 10. And 10-year-olds see things adults try to hide. He swallowed. What does she see? Elara's voice was soft. That you look at me the way her storybook princes look at princesses. Grant said nothing. Elara continued. And that I look at you the same way. His heart hammered. Do you? She looked down. I'm trying not to. Why? Because if I do, and you leave, it'll destroy her. And I can't let that happen. He knelt beside her wheelchair. I'm not leaving. You keep saying that. Because it's true. She touched his face. But what if life takes you away? What if something happens? What if? He covered her hand with his. Then we'll deal with it. Together. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm terrified. Of what? That this is too good to be real. That I'll wake up and you'll be gone. He squeezed her hand. I'm real. This is real. She pulled him closer. Whispered. Promise me you'll never break her heart. I promise. And mine? He looked her in the eyes. Especially yours. She kissed his forehead. Soft. Gentle. Then pulled back. Okay. Okay? She smiled through tears. Let's be a family. That afternoon, they went to the park. Sky rode her bike. Grant pushed Alara's wheelchair. They looked like any other family. And for the first time, they felt like one. Sky stopped at the bike path. Mr. Grant. Race me again. He laughed. I lost last time. Then try harder. Alara smiled. Go. I'll wait here. He hesitated. You sure? I'm sure. Go make her happy. He jogged to the starting line. Sky counted down. 3, 2, 1, go. They took off. Alara watched them. Her heart full. She'd spent years thinking she'd destroyed Sky's childhood. But watching her daughter laugh. Watching Grant chase her with pure joy. She realized something. Maybe she hadn't destroyed it. Maybe she'd just delayed it. And now, it was finally here. Later, they stopped for ice cream. Sky got chocolate. Grant got vanilla. Alara got strawberry. They sat on a bench. Watching people pass by. Sky licked her cone. Mr. Grant, can I ask you something? Anything. Do you love my mommy? Grant choked on his ice cream. Alara's eyes went wide. Sky. Sky shrugged. What? I just want to know. Grant looked at Alara. Then at Sky. Why do you ask? Because you look at her the way Daddy used to. Before he left. Grant's chest tightened. How did he look at her? Like she was the only person in the world. Grant smiled faintly. That's a good way to look at someone. So do you? He glanced at Alara. Her face was red. But she didn't stop him. He looked back at Sky. Yeah. I do. Sky smiled. Good. Because she loves you too. Alara covered her face. Sky, stop. What? It's true. You smile all the time now. And you cry less. Grant's voice was soft. Is that true? Alara peeked through her fingers. Maybe. Sky grinned. See? I told you. Grant laughed. You're too smart for your own good. Sky shrugged. I know. She finished her ice cream. Then looked at them both. Can I call you Dad? The world stopped. Grant stared at her. What? Can I? I never had a real dad. And you act like one. Grant's eyes burned. Sky, I. Alara touched his arm. Shook her head slightly. He understood. He knelt in front of Sky. How about we start with Mr. Grant? And if your mom says it's okay later, we'll talk about it. Sky thought for a moment. Then nodded. Okay. But I'm going to ask again. He smiled. I'm counting on it. That night, after Sky went to bed, Grant stayed late. He and Alara sat on the couch. Side by side. Not touching. but close enough to feel each other's warmth. She really asked you that, Elara whispered. She really did. I'm sorry. She shouldn't have put you on the spot. He turned to her. I'm not sorry. Grant. I mean it. She sees something. And maybe we should stop pretending she doesn't. Elara's voice trembled. What are you saying? He took her hand. I'm saying I love you. I've loved you for 12 years. And I'll love you for 12 more. And 12 after that. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Grant. I'm saying I want this. You. Sky. This life. All of it. She shook her head. You don't know what you're asking for. Yes, I do. I'm asking to be part of your family. I come with baggage. So do I. I can't walk. I don't care. I have a daughter who's already calling you dad in her head. He smiled. Good. She laughed through tears. You're insane. You keep saying that. She pulled him closer. I love you. He froze. What? I love you. I tried not to. I tried to keep my distance. But I can't. I love you. He cupped her face. Say it again. I love you, Grant. He kissed her. Soft. Slow. 12 years of waiting in a single moment. When they pulled apart, she was crying. I'm scared. I know. What if this doesn't work? Then we'll figure it out. What if I hurt you again? Then I'll forgive you again. She rested her head on his chest. You're too good for me. No. I'm just good enough. They sat in silence. The city hummed outside. But inside, everything was still. Peaceful. Right. Later, as Grant stood to leave, Sky's door cracked open. Her small voice called out. Mr. Grant? He walked over. Yeah, kid? Are you going to marry my mommy? He smiled. Would you like that? She nodded. Then we'd really be a family. He knelt down. We already are, Sky. But it's not official. It will be. When the time is right. She smiled. Promise? He held out his pinky. Promise. Stop right there. Did Sky just ask Grant to marry her mom? And did he just promise? If you felt that moment, I need you to subscribe, because this family is about to face their biggest test yet. And here's my question for you, what's the one promise someone made to you that changed everything? Comment below. I read every single one. She locked pinkies with him. Okay. Good night, Mr. Grant. Good night, Sky. She closed the door. Grant stood. Walked back to the living room. Elara was watching him. What did she say? He smiled. She asked when I'm going to marry you. Elara laughed. What did you tell her? That we're already a family. She wheeled closer. And that when the time is right, it'll be official. Her eyes widened. Grant. He knelt in front of her. I'm not proposing. Not yet. But I want you to know, I'm going to. She covered her mouth. You're serious. I've never been more serious in my life. She pulled him into a kiss. This one deeper. Longer. A promise without words. When they pulled apart, she whispered. I'll say yes. He smiled. I'm counting on it. 2 weeks after the kiss, things felt normal. Not perfect. But normal. Grant came over every day after work. Helped with dinner. Played with Sky. Sat with Elara. They felt like a family. But there was something Grant hadn't told them. Something he'd buried for 12 years. One evening, Sky did her homework at the kitchen table. Math problems. Word problems. The kind that made her groan. Grant sat beside her. Need help? She nodded. I hate fractions. He laughed. Everyone hates fractions. Did you? He paused. Yeah. I did. Were you good at school? He shook his head. Not really. She looked up. Really? Really? I barely graduated high school. Her eyes widened. But you're rich. He smiled. Rich and smart aren't the same thing. Elara wheeled over. What are we talking about? Sky pointed at Grant. He said he was bad at school. Elara looked at him. Surprised. You were? He shrugged. I wasn't book smart. I was street smart. Sky tilted her head. What's the difference? Grant leaned back. Book smart is knowing the answer. Street smart is knowing how to survive when you don't. Elara's voice was soft. You never told me that. You never asked. Sky put down her pencil. Mr. Grant, were you ever poor? The question hung in the air. Grant glanced at Elara. Then back at Sky. Yes. Sky's eyes went wide. Like us? Worse. Elara frowned. Grant. He held up a hand. She asked. I'm not going to lie. Sky leaned forward. What did you eat? He smiled faintly. Dreams. Sky laughed. You can't eat dreams. You can when there's nothing else. Her smile faded. You're serious. He nodded. Dead serious. Elara's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me? He looked at her. Because back then, I didn't want you to know. I wanted you to think I had it together. But you didn't? Not even close. Silence. Sky spoke quietly. What happened? Grant took a breath. Let it out slow. My dad left when I was 8. My mom worked 3 jobs just to keep the lights on. Most nights, we didn't eat dinner. We just survived. Elara's hand covered her mouth. He continued. When I was 16, my mom got sick. Cancer. We didn't have insurance. Couldn't afford treatment. His voice cracked. She died 6 months later. Sky's eyes filled with tears. Mr. Grant. He wiped his eyes quickly. After that, I lived on the streets for a year. Slept in shelters. Ate at soup kitchens. Did whatever I had to do to survive. Elara wheeled closer. Grant, I had no idea. I didn't want you to. You were this beautiful girl with dreams. I didn't want you to see me as some charity case. You were never a charity case. I felt like one. She reached for his hand. Why didn't you tell me? Because I was ashamed. And because I thought if you knew, you'd leave. She shook her head. I wouldn't have. He smiled sadly. You left anyway. 12 years of waiting. 12 years of wondering what if. If this story is already hitting you in the heart, do me one favor, hit that subscribe button. Because what happens next between Grant and Elara will either break you or heal you. And trust me, you don't want to miss a single moment. Drop a comment and tell me, have you ever waited for someone who chose someone else? Let's talk about it. The words hit like a punch. Elara's face crumbled. Grant. He squeezed her hand. I'm not saying it to hurt you. I'm saying it because it's the truth. I was poor. You wanted more. And I couldn't give it to you. Tears streamed down her face. I was so stupid. No. You were scared. Just like I was. Sky stood up. Walked over. Climbed into Grant's lap. She hugged him tight. I'm sorry your mommy died. His throat closed. Thank you, Sky. She pulled back. Looked him in the eyes. But you're not poor anymore. He smiled. No. I'm not. How did you do it? He glanced at Alara. Then back at Sky. I got angry. Sky frowned. Angry? Yeah. Angry at being poor. Angry at being helpless. Angry at watching people I loved suffer. He paused. So I decided to do something about it. I taught myself business. Worked 3 jobs. Saved every penny. Took risks no one else would take. And it worked? Eventually. But it took years. And a lot of failure. Alara's voice was quiet. Is that why you're so driven? He nodded. I never wanted to feel helpless again. So I made sure I never would be. She wiped her eyes. You never told me any of this. Because I wanted you to see me as someone who had it all. Not someone who'd lost everything. I would have loved you anyway. He looked at her. Would you? She hesitated. He smiled sadly. Exactly. Sky hugged him again. I love you, Mr. Grant. His eyes burned. I love you too, kid. Alara wheeled closer. Took his other hand. I'm sorry. For everything. For not seeing you. For leaving. For. He pulled her close. Stop. We can't change the past. But we can build the future. She rested her head on his shoulder. You're too good to us. No. I'm just finally good enough. Later that night, after Sky went to bed, Alara couldn't stop looking at him. What? He asked. I'm just trying to see you differently. What do you mean? The Grant I knew was confident. Strong. Sure of himself. And now? Now I realize you were just scared. Like me. He smiled. We were both scared. But you survived. So did you. She shook her head. Barely. He knelt in front of her. You raised an incredible daughter. You kept going when most people would have quit. That's more than survival. That's strength. She touched his face. How do you always know what to say? Because I've spent 12 years rehearsing this conversation in my head. She laughed. Really? Every night. Imagining what I'd say if I ever saw you again. And? None of my rehearsals came close to this. She pulled him into a kiss. When they broke apart, she whispered. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for listening. She smiled. I wish I'd known. Back then. Would it have changed anything? She was quiet for a moment. Then nodded. Yeah. I think it would have. How? I would have fought harder to keep you. His breath caught. Really? She nodded. Because I would have seen what I see now. That you're not just successful. You're a survivor. And survivors don't quit. He rested his forehead against hers. Neither do you. The next morning, Sky woke up early. Knocked on Grant's car window. He'd fallen asleep outside again. He rolled it down. Hey, kid. Why do you sleep in your car? He sat up. I don't want to intrude. Mommy says you can sleep on the couch. I know. But I like being close. Just in case. In case what? In case you need me. She smiled. We always need you. He opened the door. Stepped out. Stretched. Sky grabbed his hand. Come on. Mommy's making pancakes. She is? Well, I'm making them. She's watching. He laughed. That sounds dangerous. I'm good at pancakes. They walked inside together. Elara was at the stove. In her wheelchair. Flipping pancakes on a low burner. She looked up. Smiled. Morning. Grant kissed her forehead. Morning. Sky climbed on a chair. I'm making the chocolate chip ones. Grant watched them. This little family he'd stumbled into. And he realized something. He'd spent 12 years building an empire. But this, right here, was the only thing that ever mattered. That afternoon, Sky asked the question again. Mr. Grant, can I call you Dad now? He looked at Elara. She smiled. Nodded. He looked at Sky. Yeah. You can. She threw her arms around him. Dad. The word hit him harder than he expected. He held her. Eyes burning. Elara wheeled over. Took his hand. Welcome to the family. He looked at them both. His family. Not by blood. But by choice. And that made it even more real. That night, Elara couldn't sleep. She lay in bed. Staring at the ceiling. Replaying everything Grant had told her. The poverty. The loss. The survival. She'd spent 12 years thinking she'd made the right choice. Choosing comfort over struggle. Choosing Victor over Grant. But now she understood. Grant had always been the stronger man. Not because he had money. But because he'd survived without it. She grabbed her phone. Hesitated. Then called him. He answered on the first ring. You okay? His voice was alert. Like he'd been waiting. I can't stop thinking about what you said. Which part? All of it. But especially the part about your mom. Silence on the other end. Then his voice. Soft. Raw. I don't talk about her much. Why not? Because it still hurts. Elara's throat tightened. Grant. She was everything, Elara. My whole world. And I watched her fade away because we couldn't afford to save her. Tears streamed down her face. I'm so sorry. It's not your fault. I know. But I wish I'd been there. You were dealing with your own life. That's not an excuse. He was quiet for a moment. Then spoke softly. Can I ask you something? Anything. Do you ever regret it? Choosing him over me? Her breath caught. Every single day. His voice cracked. Really? Yes. Because I thought money would make me happy. And it didn't. It just made me dependent. Trapped. Broken. You're not broken. I am. But you make me feel whole again. Silence. Then he whispered. I love you. I love you too. Say it again. She smiled through tears. I love you, Grant. One more time. She laughed softly. I love you. I love you. I love you. He let out a breath. I needed to hear that. Why? Because sometimes I wake up and think this is a dream. That I'll lose you again. You won't. How do you know? Because I'm not letting go this time. Promise? I promise. They sat in silence. Just breathing together through the phone. Finally, Elara spoke. Grant? Yeah. Can you come over? Now? Yes. It's 2 in the morning. I know. But I need to see you. He didn't hesitate. I'm on my way. 15 minutes later, she heard a knock. She wheeled to the door. Opened it. Grant stood there. Hair messy. Clothes wrinkled. Eyes full of concern. What's wrong? She pulled him inside. Closed the door. Nothing's wrong. I just needed you here. He knelt in front of her. You scared me. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'd come anytime. You know that. She touched his face. I don't want Sky to grow up thinking love means pain. He frowned. What do you mean? She's seen me suffer. Seen me struggle. Seen me cry over a man who hurt me. Her voice cracked. I don't want her to think that's what love looks like. Grant took her hands. Then show her something different. How? By letting me love you. The right way. Tears spilled down her cheeks. What if I don't know how to receive that? Then I'll teach you. She shook her head. You make it sound so easy. It's not easy. But it's worth it. She pulled him closer. Rested her forehead against his. I'm scared. Of what? That I'll hurt you again. That I'll push you away. That I'll. He pressed his finger to her lips. Stop. She looked at him. You're not going to hurt me. And even if you do, I'll forgive you. Because that's what love is. She closed her eyes. You're too good to be real. I'm real. And I'm here. And I'm not going anywhere. She kissed him. Soft at first. Then deeper. A kiss that said everything words couldn't. When they pulled apart, she whispered. Stay tonight. He hesitated. Sky is asleep. And she'll be happy to see you in the morning. Are you sure? She nodded. I need you close. He smiled. Okay. They sat on the couch. Side by side. Her head on his shoulder. His arm around her. The city hummed outside. But inside, everything was quiet. Elara spoke first. Tell me about her. Who? Your mom. Grant was quiet for a long moment. Then he started talking. Her name was Ruth. She was small. Maybe 5'2". But she had this presence. Like she was 10 feet tall. Elara smiled. What was she like? Strong. Stubborn. She never complained. Even when things were bad. He paused. She used to work the night shift at a diner. Come home at 6 in the morning. Make me breakfast. Then sleep for a few hours before going to her second job. She worked 2 jobs. 3, actually. The diner. A laundromat. And weekends, she cleaned houses. Elara's voice was soft. How did she do it? I don't know. But she did. And she never let me see her break. Did she ever? He nodded. Once. After my dad left. I heard her crying in the bathroom. She didn't know I was listening. His voice cracked. I wanted to help her. But I didn't know how. I was just a kid. Elara squeezed his hand. You were there. That's what mattered. I should have done more. You did enough. He shook his head. When she got sick, I tried everything. Applied for loans. Sold everything we had. Begged the hospital for help. Tears rolled down his face. But it wasn't enough. She died anyway. Elara pulled him close. I'm so sorry, Grant. The day she died, she made me promise something. What? That I'd never give up. That I'd fight for the life she couldn't give me. He wiped his eyes. So I did. I fought. And I won. But every time I close a deal or make money, I think about her. And I wonder if she'd be proud. Elara turned his face toward hers. She would be. Not because of the money. But because of who you became. He looked at her. How do you know? Because I see it. You're kind. You're patient. You fight for people who can't fight for themselves. She smiled through tears. That's not something you learn in business school. That's something you learn from love. And your mom loved you enough to teach you that. He broke. Not loud. Just quiet tears. She held him. Let him release 12 years of pain. When he finally stopped, he whispered. Thank you. For what? For seeing me. The real me. Not the billionaire. Not the success story. Just me. She kissed his forehead. That's the only version I want. Later, as they lay on the couch, Elara spoke quietly. Grant? Yeah. When you propose, and I know you will, don't make it fancy. He smiled. What do you mean? I don't need a big production. I don't need a ring that costs a fortune. I just need you. On one knee. Asking me to spend forever with you. He turned to look at her. That's it? That's everything. He kissed her. Deal. She rested her head on his chest. Do you think Sky will be happy? I think she'll cry. Elara laughed. Probably. Good tears though. The best kind. They lay in silence. Grant's hand traced circles on her arm. She spoke again. Softer this time. Grant? Yeah. Thank you for not giving up on me. He squeezed her hand. I never could. Why not? Because some people are worth waiting for. And you're one of them. She closed her eyes. Smiled. And for the first time in 12 years, Elara felt something she thought was impossible. Safe. Loved. Home. The next morning, Sky woke up and found them asleep on the couch. She smiled. Grabbed a blanket. Covered them both. Then whispered. I knew you'd stay, Dad. And she went back to her room. 3 weeks later, Grant came home with an envelope. Not just any envelope. A thick one. Medical letterhead. Elara was in the kitchen. Making tea. He set it on the table. Said nothing. She looked at it. Then at him. What's this? Open it. Her hands shook as she picked it up. Inside were medical reports. Evaluations. X-rays. And a doctor's name. Dr. Patricia Wells. Spinal rehabilitation specialist. Elara's eyes went wide. Grant. I made you an appointment. What? Next Tuesday. 2 o'clock. She stared at him. I can't afford this. I can. Grant, these specialists cost thousands. I know. I can't let you. He knelt in front of her wheelchair. Yes, you can. She shook her head. It's too much. It's not enough. Tears filled her eyes. What if it doesn't work? What if I go through all of this and nothing changes? Then at least we tried. But. Elara. His voice was firm. Gentle. You've spent 10 years in this chair. 10 years telling yourself you'll never walk again. What if you're wrong? She looked away. I'm not wrong. The doctors said. The doctors said your spine was damaged. Not destroyed. There's a difference. She wiped her eyes. You don't understand. I've accepted this. I've made peace with it. Have you? She went quiet. He continued. Because every time Sky runs, you watch her. And I see it in your eyes. You wish you could run with her. Her lip trembled. That doesn't mean. Every time we go to the park, you stare at the walking path. Like you're remembering what it felt like. She covered her face. Stop. Every night before bed, you stretch your legs. Like you're hoping they'll work again. She sobbed. Grant, please. You haven't made peace with it. You've just survived it. And there's a difference. She broke. Crying into her hands. He pulled her close. Held her. Let me give you this chance. Please. She pulled back. Looked at him through tears. What if I fail? Then you fail. But at least you tried. What if it hurts? Then I'll be there. Every step. She shook her head. You don't know what you're asking. Yes, I do. I'm asking you to fight. One more time. She stared at him for a long moment. Then whispered. Okay. Okay? She nodded. I'll go. But I'm not making any promises. He smiled. That's all I need. The following Tuesday, they drove to the clinic. Sky came with them. She'd refused to go to school. I want to see Mommy walk again, she'd said. Grant didn't argue. The clinic was modern. Clean. Expensive. Dr. Wells met them in her office. Mid-40s. Sharp eyes. Kind smile. Mrs. Elara? Just Elara. Dr. Wells nodded. I've reviewed your files. And I have good news. Elara's breath caught. What kind of good news? Your spinal injury is severe. But it's not complete. You have partial sensation in your legs, correct? Elara nodded. Sometimes. Not always. That's significant. It means the nerves aren't fully severed. They're damaged. But they can be retrained. Grant leaned forward. What does that mean? Dr. Wells pulled up an X-ray on her screen. It means with intensive physical therapy, muscle retraining, and possibly surgery, she could regain some function. Elara's voice shook. Some function? I can't promise you'll run marathons. But walking? With assistance at first, then independently? That's possible. Tears streamed down Elara's face. Are you serious? Completely. But I won't lie to you. It'll be hard. Painful. It'll take months, maybe years. I don't care. Dr. Wells smiled. Then let's get started. The first session was brutal. Elara was strapped into a harness. Suspended above a treadmill. Her legs dangled. Useless. Try to move your right leg, the therapist said. Elara closed her eyes. Concentrated. Nothing. Again. Still nothing. Tears of frustration rolled down her face. I can't. Grant stood beside her. Yes, you can. I've been trying. Then try harder. She glared at him. You don't understand. You're right. I don't. But I know you. And I know you don't quit. She closed her eyes again. Gritted her teeth. Focused. Her right leg twitched. Barely. But it moved. The therapist gasped. Did you see that? Elara opened her eyes. Did I? You moved it. Just a little. But you moved it. Grant grabbed her hand. Squeezed. You did it. She stared at her leg. Disbelief in her eyes. I moved it. You moved it. She laughed. Cried. Both at once. Sky jumped up and down. Mommy. You did it. Elara looked at her daughter. At Grant. At the therapist. And for the first time in 10 years, she believed. Maybe. Just maybe. She could walk again. Over the next few weeks, the sessions continued. Each one harder than the last. Some days, she made progress. Other days, she broke down crying. Grant was there every time. Holding her hand. Wiping her tears. Pushing her to keep going. One afternoon, she snapped. I can't do this anymore. Yes, you can. No. I can't. It's too hard. He knelt in front of her. You've survived 10 years in that chair. You can survive this. That was different. How? Because I didn't have hope then. Hope makes it worse. He grabbed her face. Gently but firmly. Hope is the only thing that makes it worth it. She sobbed. What if I fail? Then you fail trying. And that's better than never trying at all. She stared at him. Then nodded slowly. Okay. One more time. That's my girl. 6 weeks in, it happened. Elara stood. Not in a harness. Not suspended. She stood on her own 2 feet. 4-5 seconds. Then her legs gave out. But it didn't matter. Because she'd done it. Grant caught her. Held her. You stood. She laughed through tears. I stood. Sky ran over. Mommy. You stood. Elara hugged her daughter. Crying. I did, baby. I stood. The therapist clapped. That's incredible progress. Dr. Wells walked in. Saw them celebrating. What did I miss? Grant looked up. Grinning. She stood. Dr. Wells smiled. Told you it was possible. That night, they celebrated. Pizza. Ice cream. Movies. Sky fell asleep on the couch halfway through. Grant carried her to bed. When he came back, Elara was by the window. Staring out at the city. He walked over. Wrapped his arms around her from behind. What are you thinking? She leaned back into him. That a year ago, I was ready to give up. And now? Now I have hope. He kissed her head. Good. She turned to face him. Thank you. For what? For not letting me quit. For believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. He cupped her face. I'll always believe in you. She kissed him. Soft. Deep. When they pulled apart, she whispered. I'm going to walk again. He smiled. I know. And when I do, the first thing I'm going to do is dance with you. His throat tightened. Deal. She rested her head on his chest. And for the first time in 10 years, Elara didn't just survive. She lived. Grant woke up early one Saturday morning. Elara was still asleep. Sky too. He slipped out quietly. Drove across town to a storage unit he'd rented months ago. Inside, covered in dust, was the original red bicycle. The one Sky had sold him that rainy day. He'd kept it. Never told them. He loaded it into his truck. Drove to a bike shop. The owner looked at it. Raised an eyebrow. You want me to fix this? Grant nodded. I want you to restore it. Make it perfect. The owner examined it closer. This thing's held together with tape and hope. I know. That's why it matters. The man looked at him. Saw something in his eyes. When do you need it? Today. Today? That's impossible. Grant pulled out his wallet. How much to make it possible? The owner smiled. Give me 4 hours. 4 hours later, Grant picked it up. The red bicycle was transformed. New paint. Shining chrome. Fresh tires. Working brakes. But the frame was the same. The original. The one Sky's small hands had gripped that day in the rain. Grant paid. Loaded it into his truck. Drove home. When he pulled up, Sky was outside. Playing with her racing bike. She saw him. Ran over. Dad! Where'd you go? He smiled. The words still hit him every time. I have something for you. What? He opened the truck bed. Sky froze. Stared at the red bicycle. Her mouth opened. Closed. No words came out. Is that? Yeah. My old bike? The same one. She climbed into the truck. Touched it carefully. Like it was glass. You kept it? I kept it. But why? He knelt beside the truck. I level with her. Because this bike is important. It's the reason I found you. The reason I found your mom. The reason we're a family. Tears filled her eyes. You fixed it. I restored it. There's a difference. She ran her fingers over the handlebars. It's beautiful. Just like the girl who rode it. She jumped into his arms. Hugged him tight. Thank you, Dad. He held her. Throat tight. You're welcome, kiddo. Elara wheeled out onto the porch. Saw them. Saw the bike. Her hand went to her mouth. Grant looked at her. Smiled. She wheeled down the ramp. Slowly. Carefully. Stopped in front of the bike. Touched the red paint. You kept it. I kept it. She looked at him. Eyes glistening. Why? Because this bike changed my life. She shook her head. It's just a bike. No. It's a symbol. Of what? He knelt beside her wheelchair. Of everything you and Sky fought through. Of survival. Of dignity. Of refusing to quit even when the world said you should. Tears streamed down her face. He continued. You told Sky never to beg. Only to trade. You taught her that dignity matters more than comfort. And this bike is proof of that. Elara covered her face. Sobbing. Sky hugged her. Don't cry, Mommy. These are happy tears, baby. Grant stood. There's more. Elara looked up. What? He walked to the truck. Pulled out a small plaque. Handed it to her. She read it aloud. Voice shaking. The red bicycle. A reminder that hope rides on 2 wheels. And sometimes, all you need is one person to believe. She looked at him. Grant. I'm having copies made. For a project I'm starting. What project? He smiled. I'll show you. That afternoon, Grant drove them to the east side of town. An old warehouse. Recently renovated. He parked. Helped Elara out. Sky followed. What is this place? Elara asked. He unlocked the door. Pushed it open. Inside was a massive space. Rows of bicycles.
Wow!
Brand new. Red. Every single one. Tables. Chairs. A kitchen. And on the wall, a giant mural. A red bicycle. A mother. A daughter. Underneath it read, the Red Bicycle Foundation. Ilara's breath caught. Sky ran inside. Dad! What is all this? Grant walked in. Stood in the center. This is for families like yours. Families who are struggling. Families who need help but refuse to beg. He pointed to the bicycles. Every bike here is free. For kids who need transportation. For parents who need a way to get to work. He pointed to the kitchen. We'll serve meals. Hot meals. 3 times a week. No questions asked. He pointed to the tables. Tutoring. Job training. Resume help. Whatever people need to get back on their feet. Ilara wheeled closer. Tears streaming. You did this? We did this. This is your story. Your strength. I just made it real. She covered her mouth. I can't believe. Sky grabbed her hand. Mommy, look. That's us. She pointed to the mural. Ilara stared at it. Saw herself. Saw Sky. Saw their story painted on a wall for the world to see. And she broke. Not from pain. From joy. Grant knelt beside her. You taught me that dignity doesn't need money. I want to teach others the same thing. She pulled him close. Whispered through tears. I love you. I love you too. Sky hugged them both. This is the best day ever. That evening, they sat outside the warehouse. Watching the sunset. Sky rode her original red bicycle in circles. Laughing. Ilara sat beside Grant. Hand in his. When does it open? She asked. 2 weeks. What do you need? You. She looked at him. What? I want you to run it. Well, co-run it. With me. Her eyes widened. Grant, I can't. Yes, you can. You know what it's like to struggle. To survive. To need help but be too proud to ask. That makes you perfect. She shook her head. But I'm in a wheelchair. For now. And even if you stay in one forever, it doesn't matter. People need to see someone who survived. Someone who's fought. Someone who understands. She stared at him. You really believe that? I know that. She looked out at Sky. Then back at the warehouse. Okay. Okay? She nodded. Let's do it. Together. He kissed her. Together. 2 weeks later, the Red Bicycle Foundation opened. The line stretched around the block. Families. Single parents. Kids with worn-out shoes and empty stomachs. Ilara sat at the front table. Greeting everyone. Sky helped hand out bicycles. Grant worked the kitchen. It was chaos. Beautiful chaos. At one point, a little girl approached Ilara. Maybe 8 years old. Dirty clothes. Shy smile. Ma'am? Ilara looked down. Hi, sweetie. What's your name? Lily. Hi, Lily. Are you here for a bike? She nodded. But I don't have money. Ilara smiled. You don't need money here. You just need to promise me something. What? That you'll take care of it. And when you don't need it anymore, you'll pass it on to someone who does. Lily's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Lily hugged her. Thank you. Elara held her, eyes burning, because she saw herself in this little girl. And she realized something. This wasn't just about giving bikes. It was about giving hope. That night, after everyone left, Grant found Elara sitting alone, staring at the mural. He sat beside her. "You okay?" She nodded. "I just keep thinking about that little girl. Lily. What about her? She reminded me of Sky. Of me. Of everyone who's ever felt invisible." She turned to him. "You gave us a voice, Grant. You turned our pain into purpose." He took her hand. "We did it together." She shook her head. "No. You did it. You saw a little girl selling a bike in the rain and decided to change the world." He smiled. "I didn't change the world. I just changed yours." She pulled him close. "And mine is the whole world to me." They sat in silence. The warehouse empty now, but full of promise. Sky ran over. "Can we come back tomorrow?" Grant laughed. "We're coming back every day." She grinned. "Good. Because I like helping people." Elara looked at her daughter, then at Grant. And she realized something else. She'd spent 10 years thinking her life was over. But it wasn't. It was just beginning. 3 months after the foundation opened, Elara stood for 10 minutes straight. Not in a harness. Not holding on to anything. Just standing. Grant watched from across the therapy room. Eyes wet. The therapist clapped. Incredible progress. Elara looked at her legs. Still shaking. But holding. "I can't believe it." "Believe it. You're doing it." She took a step. One step. Then her legs gave out. Grant caught her before she hit the ground. "I've got you." She laughed. Cried. "I walked. I actually walked." "You did. One step. But still." He held her face. "1 step today. 2 steps tomorrow." She kissed him. Hard. Grateful. "I couldn't do this without you." "Yes, you could. But I'm glad you don't have to." That evening, they had dinner at the apartment. Sky set the table. Humming. Elara watched her. Smiled. Grant came out of the kitchen, carrying pasta. "Smells amazing," Elara said. "Wait till you taste it." They sat down. Ate. Laughed. It felt normal. Like they'd been doing this forever. Halfway through dinner, Sky spoke up. "Dad?" Grant looked up. "Yeah? Do you ever think about your mom?" The question caught him off guard. Elara froze. Fork halfway to her mouth. Grant set down his fork. "Every day." "What do you think about?" He took a breath. "I think about what she'd say if she saw me now." "What would she say?" He smiled faintly. "She'd probably tell me I'm working too hard. That I need to rest more." Sky laughed. "That sounds like something Mommy would say." Elara smiled. "Because it's true." Grant looked at her. "I rest. Barely. I rest enough. Not even close." Sky giggled. Grant shook his head, smiling. Then Sky asked another question. "Do you think she's proud of you?" Grant's smile faded. His throat tightened. "I hope so. I think she is." He looked at Sky. "Why?" "Because you help people. Like she did." His eyes burned. "How do you know she helped people?" "Because that's who you are. And you learned it from someone." Elara reached across the table. Took his hand. He squeezed it. Hard. Sky continued. I think she's watching. And I think she's happy you found us. Grant couldn't speak. He just nodded. Elara wiped her eyes. And Sky went back to eating. Like she hadn't just healed something deep inside him. Later that night, after Sky went to bed, Elara and Grant sat on the couch. Silence between them. But not uncomfortable. Finally, Elara spoke. Can I ask you something? Anything. Do you forgive me? He frowned. For what? For leaving. For choosing him. For wasting 12 years. He turned to face her. Elara. I need to know. Because I can't forgive myself until I know you have. He took her hands. I forgave you the day I saw Sky. But. No. Listen. I spent years being angry. Hurt. Bitter. But the moment I saw your daughter selling that bike, everything changed. He paused. Because I realized something. You didn't waste 12 years. You survived them. You raised an incredible kid. You fought through hell. And you came out stronger. She shook her head. I'm not strong. Yes, you are. You just don't see it yet. Tears rolled down her face. I hurt you. Yeah. You did. And you still forgave me? I had to. Because holding on to anger was killing me. She looked down. I don't deserve your forgiveness. Maybe not. But I'm giving it anyway. She looked up. Why? Because forgiveness isn't about what you deserve. It's about what I need. And I needed to let go. She sobbed. I'm so sorry. I know. I was stupid. Selfish. Blind. You were scared. Just like me. She pulled him close. How do you do that? Do what? Make me feel like I'm not the worst person in the world. He smiled. Because you're not. You're just human. She rested her head on his chest. They sat in silence for a long time. Then Elara spoke quietly. I need to forgive myself. How? I don't know. But I can't keep carrying this guilt. He pulled back. Looked her in the eyes. Then put it down. It's not that easy. Yes, it is. You just decide. Right now. To let it go. She shook her head. I can't. Yes, you can. Say it. Out loud. She hesitated. Then whispered. I forgive myself. Louder. I forgive myself. One more time. She closed her eyes. I forgive myself. When she opened them, tears streamed down her face. But something had shifted. Something had lifted. Grant wiped her tears. There. Now you're free. She laughed through tears. Just like that? Just like that. She kissed him. Soft. Grateful. Thank you. For what? For not giving up on me. Even when I gave up on myself. He cupped her face. I'll never give up on you. Promise? I promise. The next day, something unexpected happened. A knock on the door. Elara opened it. And froze. Standing there was a woman she hadn't seen in years. Her sister. Caroline. Elara? Elara's voice was barely a whisper. Caroline? Her sister's eyes filled with tears. I heard about the foundation. I saw your picture in the paper. I had to come. Elara just stared. Caroline stepped forward. I'm so sorry. For everything. For not being there. For abandoning you when you needed me. Ilara's hands shook. You left. I know. You didn't call. Didn't visit. Nothing. I know. And I'm sorry. Why now? Caroline's voice cracked. Because I was ashamed. Ashamed that I didn't help you. Ashamed that I chose my own comfort over your suffering. Ilara's jaw tightened. You knew I needed help. I did. And you stayed away. I did. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Silence. Then Caroline spoke again. But I'm here now. And I'm begging you. Please. Let me back into your life. Ilara stared at her sister. Every muscle in her body wanted to slam the door. To tell her it was too late. But then she remembered what Grant had said. Forgiveness isn't about what you deserve. It's about what I need. She took a breath. Let it out slow. Then stepped aside. Come in. They sat at the kitchen table. Grant stayed in the background. Watching. Listening. Caroline looked around. You've done well for yourself. Ilara shook her head. I didn't do this alone. Caroline glanced at Grant. Is he? Yes. Caroline smiled. He looks at you like you're the only person in the room. Ilara blushed. He does that. Caroline's smile faded. I missed so much. You did. Can I meet her? Sky. Ilara hesitated. I don't know. Please. I'm her aunt. I want to know her. Ilara looked at Grant. He nodded slightly. She took a breath. Okay. But slowly. She doesn't know you. Caroline's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. You have a lot to prove. I know. And I will. I promise. Later, after Caroline left, Ilara sat on the couch. Staring at nothing. Grant sat beside her. You okay? She nodded. I think so. That was big. Letting her in. I know. You didn't have to. She looked at him. Yes, I did. Because if I can ask you to forgive me, I have to forgive her. He smiled. You're learning. She laughed. You're a terrible teacher. But you're a great student. She rested her head on his shoulder. Do you think I did the right thing? Do you? She thought for a moment. Yeah. I do. Then that's all that matters. They sat in silence. And Ilara realized something. Forgiveness wasn't just about letting others off the hook. It was about freeing herself. From anger. From pain. From the past. And for the first time in years, she felt light. That night, before bed, Sky asked a question. Mommy, who was that lady? Ilara sat on the edge of her bed. That was your Aunt Caroline. Sky's eyes widened. I have an aunt. You do. Where has she been? Ilara chose her words carefully. She's been away. But she's back now. Is she nice? I think so. But we'll see. Sky smiled. I hope she is. I've always wanted an aunt. Ilara kissed her forehead. We'll take it slow, okay? Okay. As Ilara wheeled out of the room, Sky called after her. Mommy? Yeah, baby? I'm proud of you. Ilara's throat tightened. Why? Because Dad says forgiveness is hard. And you did it anyway. Ilara smiled through tears. Thanks, baby. Good night, Mommy. Good night. One Saturday morning, Sky woke up early. Found Grant in the kitchen. Making coffee. Dad? He turned. Morning, kiddo. You're up early. She climbed onto a stool. Can I ask you something? Always. She swung her legs. Nervous. Will you marry my mom? Grant nearly dropped his mug. He set it down carefully. Turned to face her. Why do you ask? Because she talks about you in her sleep. His eyebrows raised. She does? Sky nodded. She says your name. And she smiles. His chest tightened. What else does she say? That she loves you. And that she's scared you'll leave. Grant knelt in front of her. I'm not leaving. I know. But she doesn't believe it yet. He stared at this 10-year-old girl. Too wise for her age. How do you know all this? She shrugged. I listen. And I watch. People say a lot without talking. He smiled. You're right. So will you? Will I what? Marry her. He took a breath. Do you want me to? She looked him dead in the eyes. I asked you first. He laughed. Fair enough. He stood. Walked to the counter. Opened a drawer. Pulled out a small velvet box. Sky's eyes went wide. He opened it. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. A single diamond. I bought this 2 weeks ago. Sky gasped. You did? He nodded. But I'm waiting for the right moment. When's the right moment? When she can stand without help. When she's ready to believe I'm not going anywhere. Sky smiled. She's almost there. I know. She hopped off the stool. Hugged him. I can't wait to be your real daughter. His throat closed. You already are. She pulled back. I know. But I want the paperwork. He laughed. Wiped his eyes. Deal. That afternoon, the foundation was busy. Families lined up. Kids picked out bikes. Parents filled out job applications. Elara sat at the front desk. Greeting everyone. Caroline was there too. Helping in the kitchen. She'd been coming every day for 3 weeks. Slowly earning back trust. At one point, Caroline approached Elara. Can we talk? Elara looked up. About what? About us. About what happened. Elara hesitated. Then nodded. Okay. They stepped outside. Sat on a bench. Caroline spoke first. I need you to know something. What? When you were with Victor, I wanted to help. I really did. But he told me you didn't want to see me. Elara frowned. What? He said you were ashamed. That you didn't want your family knowing you'd married him. Elara's jaw dropped. That's a lie. I know that now. But back then, I believed him. Elara's voice shook. I called you. Over and over. You never answered. Caroline's eyes filled with tears. He blocked your number on my phone. I didn't know until last year when I got a new one. All your voicemails came through at once. Elara covered her mouth. He what? He isolated you from everyone. Including me. Elara stood. Hands shaking. That son of. I'm so sorry. I should have tried harder. I should have shown up anyway. Elara turned away. Trying to breathe. Caroline stood. I know I failed you. But I'm here now. And I'm not leaving again. Elara spun around. How do I trust that? You don't. Not yet. But I'll prove it. Every single day. They stared at each other. Then Elara's face crumbled. I needed you. I know. I was alone. Broken. Scared. I know. And you weren't there. Caroline stepped closer. I'm here now. Elara sobbed. It's not enough. I know. But it's a start. Elara looked at her sister. Saw genuine remorse. Genuine pain. And she made a choice. She stepped forward. Hugged her. Caroline broke. Held her tight. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I know. I'll make it right. You better. They stood there. Two sisters. Broken by the past. Rebuilding the present. That evening, Grant found Elara alone. Sitting by the window. Staring out. You okay? She nodded. Caroline told me something today. What? Victor blocked my number on her phone. She never got my calls. Grant's fists clenched. That bastard. He isolated me from everyone. My family. My friends. Everyone. Grant sat beside her. I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? You didn't do it. I know. But I wish I'd been there to stop it. She took his hand. You're here now. That's what matters. He squeezed her hand. Do you forgive her? Caroline? She nodded. I'm trying. It's hard. But I'm trying. That's all you can do. She looked at him. Do you think I'm stupid for letting her back in? No. I think you're brave. What if she leaves again? Then you'll survive. Like you always do. She smiled faintly. You have a lot of faith in me. Because you've earned it. She leaned her head on his shoulder. They sat in silence. Then Elara spoke quietly. Grant? Yeah? When are you going to ask me? His heart stopped. Ask you what? You know what? He pulled back. Looked at her. How did you? Sky told me. About the ring. He groaned. Of course she did. Elara laughed. She's terrible at keeping secrets. Apparently. She took his hand. So when? He looked at her. When you're ready. I'm ready now. He shook his head. No. You're almost ready. But not yet. How do you know? Because you still doubt. Doubt what? That I'm staying. That this is real. That I love you enough to never leave. Her eyes filled with tears. I don't doubt that. Yes, you do. Just a little. And that's okay. But when I ask, I want you to say yes without any fear. She wiped her eyes. What if that day never comes? He cupped her face. Then I'll keep proving it. Every single day. Until you believe it. She kissed him. You're crazy. You keep saying that. Because it's true. He smiled. Then I'm crazy about you. She laughed. That was terrible. I know. They held each other. The city lights twinkling outside. And Elara realized something. She wasn't scared anymore. Not of love. Not of loss. Not of the future. Because for the first time, she trusted. Not just Grant. But herself. The next morning, Elara had physical therapy. Grant went with her. Like always. The therapist set up the parallel bars. Ready? She asked. Elara nodded. She gripped the bars. Pulled herself up. Stood. Then took a step. Then another. Then another. She walked the full length of the bars. Without stopping. When she reached the end, she turned around. Saw Grant. Tears streaming down his face. She smiled. I did it. You did it. The therapist clapped. That's incredible. How do you feel? Elara looked at her legs. Then at Grant. I feel alive. That afternoon, they celebrated. Ice cream. Pizza. Movies. But halfway through, Grant got a call. He looked at the screen. Frowned. Who is it? Elara asked. Marcus. He answered. Hey. What's up? Marcus's voice was tense. We have a problem. Grant's stomach dropped. What kind of problem? Victor. He's filing a lawsuit. Against who? You. The foundation. All of it. Grant stood. Walked to the other room. On what grounds? He's claiming you extorted him. That you blackmailed him into paying child support. Grant's blood went cold. That's not. I know. But he's got lawyers. And they're good. Grant ran his hand through his hair. What do we do? We fight back. But Grant, this could get ugly. I don't care. He's not taking this from us. He's not just going after the foundation. He's going after you personally. Your reputation. Your business. Everything. Grant closed his eyes. Let him try. Grant. I said let him try. He hung up. Stood there. Fists clenched. Elara wheeled into the room. What's wrong? He turned. Tried to smile. Nothing. Don't lie to me. He sighed. Victor's suing us. Her face went pale. What? He's claiming I blackmailed him. But you didn't. I know. But he's got lawyers. She wheeled closer. What does this mean? He knelt in front of her. It means we fight. What if we lose? We won't. But what if? He took her hands. Elara. Listen to me. I've spent 12 years building an empire. I know how to fight. And I'm not letting him take this from us. She stared at him. You promise? I promise. She pulled him close. I'm scared. I know. But we're going to be okay. How do you know? Because we're stronger together than he'll ever be alone. That night, after everyone went to bed, Grant sat alone. Staring at the ring box. Victor was coming for him. For everything they'd built. But Grant had faced worse. And he'd survived. He closed the box. Put it back in the drawer. The proposal would have to wait. Because right now, he had a war to win. The lawsuit papers arrived 3 days later. Grant read them in his office. Alone. 23 pages of accusations. Extortion. Blackmail. Fraudulent coercion. Victor's lawyers had done their homework. They painted Grant as a predator who used sensitive information to manipulate a vulnerable man. Made Victor look like the victim. Grant's phone rang. His lawyer. Thomas. You read them? Yeah. It's bad, Grant. I know. They're asking for $10 million in damages. Plus they want the foundation shut down pending investigation. Grant's jaw tightened. Over my dead body. Grant, they have a case. A weak one. But a case. Then we destroy it. How? Grant leaned back. Stared at the ceiling. I have the evidence. The files Marcus gave me. Victor's fraud. His affairs. Everything. You can't use that. It'll prove his extortion claim. Then what do I do? Thomas was quiet for a moment. We need a different angle. Like what? We need to prove Victor abandoned his daughter willingly. That you didn't force him to pay. He chose to. Grant sat up. How? Does Alara have any documentation? Texts? Emails? Anything proving he knew about Sky and refused to help? Grant's mind raced. I'll ask her. Good. And Grant? Yeah. Don't do anything stupid. Victor wants you to slip up. Don't give him the satisfaction. Grant hung up. Stared at the papers. Then he had an idea. That evening, he went to Alara's apartment. She was cooking dinner. Sky was doing homework. He kissed Alara's cheek. We need to talk. Her face fell. About the lawsuit? He nodded. She turned off the stove. Sky, baby, can you go to your room for a bit? Sky looked up. Is everything okay? Alara forced a smile. Everything's fine. Just grown-up talk. Sky nodded. Left. Grant sat down. Pulled out the papers. Alara read them. Her face went pale. $10 million. It's a scare tactic. He won't win. But what if he does? He won't. But I need your help. How? Do you have anything from when you were together? Texts? Emails? Proof that he knew about Sky and refused to help? She thought for a moment. I kept everything on an old phone. I couldn't afford to throw anything away. Where is it? Storage unit. The one I had before I moved here. Grant stood. Let's go get it. Now? Now. They drove across town. The storage unit was small. Dusty. Full of boxes. Alara wheeled inside. Pointed. That one. The blue box. Grant pulled it down. Opened it. Inside were clothes. Photos. And an old phone. He handed it to her. She turned it on. Waited for it to boot up. I don't know if it still works. The screen flickered. Then lit up. She scrolled through. Stopped. Here. She handed him the phone. Grant read the messages. Text after text from Alara to Victor. I'm pregnant. The baby's yours. Please call me. I need help. She's your daughter. Please. Every message unanswered. Except one. Victor's response. Cold. Clear. I don't have a daughter. Stop contacting me. Grant's hands shook. This is it. Alara wiped her eyes. Is it enough? More than enough. She looked at him. What if he denies it? Then we'll prove it's his number. His account. His words. She nodded slowly. Okay. He pulled her close. We're going to win this. You keep saying that. Because it's true. The next day, Grant met with Thomas. Showed him the messages. Thomas read them. Smiled. This changes everything. How? This proves he willfully abandoned his child. You didn't extort him. You confronted a deadbeat father with evidence of his own neglect. Grant leaned forward. So we can use this? Absolutely. And we can file a countersuit. For child abandonment. Emotional distress. Sky's therapy costs everything. Grant's eyes lit up. How much? Thomas did some quick math. Conservatively, 15 million. Grant smiled. Let's do it. That night, Grant stood by his window. City lights stretched out below. His phone buzzed. Marcus. I heard you're countersuing. Yeah. Bold move. He started it. Marcus laughed. True. But Grant, there's something else. What? Victor's new wife. She doesn't know about Sky. So? So what if she did? Grant frowned. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that a man who lies to his wife about having a daughter might have other secrets. Grant's mind raced. You think she'd leave him? I think she'd be very interested in knowing the truth. Grant was quiet. Marcus continued. I'm not saying you should tell her. But if someone happened to send her those text messages. Grant smiled slowly. That would be unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Thanks, Marcus. Anytime. Grant hung up. Stared at his phone. He could destroy Victor completely. Ruin his marriage. His reputation. Everything. But then he remembered what Alara said. I don't need revenge. I just need my daughter to be safe. He put the phone down. Walked away. Some wars weren't worth winning that way. 2 weeks later, the countersuit was filed. Victor's lawyers called immediately. Threatening. Aggressive. But Thomas held firm. See you in court. Victor called Grant directly. Grant almost didn't answer. But he did. What do you want? Victor's voice was tight. You're making a mistake. No. You made the mistake. 10 years ago. I'm going to destroy you. Try. You think you're untouchable because you're rich? Grant laughed. No. I think I'm untouchable because I'm right. You have no idea who you're messing with. And you have no idea what it's like to watch a 10-year-old girl sell her bike to feed her mother. But you're about to find out what it costs to be that kind of man. Grant just declared war on a billionaire who abandoned his own daughter. If you're rooting for him to win this fight, smash that subscribe button right now. Because the next few minutes will decide everything, the foundation, the family, the future. Comment below, Team Grant or Team Victor. And if you say Team Victor, you better explain yourself. Silence. Then Victor spoke. Quieter. Dangerous. This isn't over. You're right. It's just beginning. Grant hung up. Blocked the number. That evening, he went to the foundation. Alara was there. Organizing supplies. He walked up behind her. Wrapped his arms around her. You okay? She leaned back into him. Yeah. Just nervous. About the lawsuit? About everything. What if this gets worse? What if Sky finds out? What if? He turned her around. Look at me. She did. We're going to be okay. How do you know? Because I'm not fighting for money. I'm fighting for you. For Sky. For our future. Her eyes filled with tears. Our future? He smiled. Yeah. Our future. She kissed him. I love you. I love you too. She pulled back. Grant? Yeah. When this is over, when we win, will you ask me then? He cupped her face. Are you ready? Almost. Then when you're fully ready, you won't have to wait. She smiled. Promise? Promise. Later that night, Grant couldn't sleep. He pulled out the ring box again. Stared at it. Thought about everything they'd been through. The pain. The healing. The love. He opened his laptop. Started typing. Not a business plan. Not a legal brief. A letter. To Sky. Dear Sky. When you read this someday, you'll be older. Maybe you'll have kids of your own. I want you to know something. The day I met you changed my life. Not because of your mother. Not because of the foundation. Because you taught me what dignity looks like. You were 10 years old, selling your bike in the rain, refusing to beg. You had nothing. But you had pride. And that's when I knew, I wanted to be part of your life. Not as a stranger. Not as a helper. As your dad. I don't know what the future holds. But I know this. I will fight for you. Every single day. I will protect you. Love you. Show you what it means to never give up. Because you showed me first. Love. Dad. He saved it. Closed the laptop. Wiped his eyes. And for the first time in weeks, he slept peacefully. The court date was set. 4 weeks away. Grant spent every day preparing with Thomas. Going over documents. Rehearsing testimony. Building the case. But at night, he came home to Alara and Sky. And that's when he remembered what he was fighting for. 2 weeks before court, something unexpected happened. Alara walked. Not with parallel bars. Not with a walker. Just walked. Across the living room. 10 steps. Then 15. Then 20. Grant was at work when she called. Grant. Her voice was shaking. His stomach dropped. What's wrong? Nothing. Everything. I walked. He froze. What? I walked. Across the room. By myself. He grabbed his keys. I'm coming. You don't have to. I'm coming. When he arrived, she was standing in the middle of the room. No wheelchair. No support. Just standing. Smiling. Crying. Sky was jumping up and down. Dad. Did you see? Mommy walked. He walked slowly toward Alara. Stopped in front of her. Stared at her legs. Then her face. You're standing. I'm standing. Without help. Without help. He pulled her into his arms. Held her tight. She sobbed into his chest. I did it. You did it. I can't believe it. I can. She pulled back. Looked at him. Will you walk with me? He took her hand. Where? Outside. I want to walk outside. They walked slowly down the street. Step by step. Her hand in his. Sky rode her red bicycle beside them. People stared. Some smiled. Some looked away. But Alara didn't care. She was walking. For the first time in 10 years, she was walking. They reached the corner. Alara stopped. Breathing hard. You okay? Grant asked. She nodded. Just tired. Want to go back? She shook her head. Not yet. I want to keep going. How far? She looked down the street. To the end. That's 3 blocks. I know. You sure? She squeezed his hand. I'm sure. It took 20 minutes. But she made it. To the end of the street. Where a small park sat. Empty. Quiet. She walked to a bench. Sat down. Grant sat beside her. Sky parked her bike. climbed onto the bench between them. They sat in silence, watching the sunset. Finally, Elara spoke. I thought I'd never do this again. I knew you would. She looked at him. How? Because you're the strongest person I've ever met. She laughed. I'm not strong. I'm just stubborn. That's the same thing. She rested her head on his shoulder. Thank you. For what? For believing in me when I couldn't. He kissed her head. Always. Sky looked up at them. Are we staying here forever? Grant smiled. Just a little longer. Okay. Because I like it here. Elara took her hand. Me too, baby. They sat there. 3 people. 1 family. And for the first time in years, everything felt right. That night, after Sky went to bed, Grant and Elara sat on the couch. She was exhausted. But glowing. My legs hurt. That's good. Means they're working. She laughed. I walked 3 blocks today. I know. I was there. Tomorrow I want to walk 4. He smiled. Slow down. No. I've been slow for 10 years. I'm done being slow. He took her hand. Elara. She turned to him. Ask me. He froze. What? Ask me. Right now. You said you wanted to wait. I'm done waiting. Ask me. His heart hammered. Are you sure? She nodded. I'm sure. I'm ready. I believe you. I believe us. He stared at her. Then slowly, he stood. Walked to the bedroom. Came back with the ring box. Her breath caught. He knelt in front of her. Opened the box. Elara. She covered her mouth. Tears already streaming. 12 years ago, I asked you to marry me. You said no. And I understood. I wasn't ready. Neither were you. He paused. But now I know what love is. It's not just wanting someone when things are good. It's staying when things are hard. It's fighting for them. Believing in them. Never giving up. His voice cracked. You taught me that. You and Sky. You taught me that love isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. He took her hand. So I'm asking you again. Not because I need an answer. But because I need you to know, I'm not going anywhere. Ever. Tears rolled down her face. Will you marry me? She nodded. Sobbing. Yes. 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 1,000 times yes. He slid the ring onto her finger. She pulled him up. Kissed him. Deep. Hard. 12 years of waiting in a single moment. When they pulled apart, she whispered. I love you. I love you too. I'm sorry I made you wait. You were worth the wait. She laughed through tears. You're crazy. You keep saying that. Because it's true. He held her. We're getting married. We're getting married. They sat there. Holding each other. And somewhere in the apartment, Sky was peeking through her door. Smiling. Whispering to herself. I knew it. The next morning, Sky burst into their room. You're getting married. Elara sat up. Laughing. How did you know? Sky pointed to the ring. Because of that. And because I heard everything. Grant groaned. Of course you did. Sky jumped onto the bed. Can I be in the wedding? Elara hugged her. You're going to be the flower girl. Really? Really? What about Dad? Is he going to cry? Grant laughed. Probably. Good. Because I'm going to cry too. Elara pulled them both close. We're all going to cry. They lay there. The three of them. A family. Finally official. That afternoon, they went to the foundation. The news spread fast. Caroline screamed. Hugged them both. I'm so happy for you. Elara laughed. Thank you. When's the wedding? Grant looked at Elara. When do you want it? She smiled. After we win the lawsuit. I want to walk down the aisle without any shadows hanging over us. He nodded. Deal. 1 week before court, Victor called again. Grant answered. What? Victor's voice was tight. Desperate. I want to settle. Grant's eyes narrowed. Why? Because this is getting out of hand. You started it. I know. And I'm ending it. I'll drop the lawsuit. You drop yours. We walk away. Grant was quiet. Victor continued. I'll keep paying child support. I'll set up a bigger trust for Sky. Just make this go away. Why the sudden change? Silence. Then Victor spoke. Quieter. My wife found out. About Sky. About everything. Grant's stomach tightened. How? Someone sent her the text messages. Anonymously. Grant closed his eyes. Marcus. Victor continued. She's leaving me. Taking half of everything. I can't afford to fight you and her. Grant should have felt victorious. But he just felt tired. I didn't send those messages. I know. But you know who did. Maybe. Victor's voice cracked. I made mistakes. A lot of them. I know that now. Grant said nothing. Victor continued. I can't fix what I did to Elara. Or to Sky. But I can stop making it worse. Grant took a breath. I'll talk to my lawyer. Thank you. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for them. Victor was quiet. Then whispered. Tell Sky. No. What? You don't get to say anything to her. You lost that right. I just wanted to say. I don't care. You made your choice. Now live with it. Grant hung up. Sat there. Breathing. Elara wheeled in. Who was that? Victor. He wants to settle. What did you say? That I'd think about it. She wheeled closer. What do you want to do? He looked at her. What do you want? She thought for a moment. I want it to be over. I don't want Sky growing up in the shadow of a court case. He nodded. Then we settle. You're okay with that? I'm okay with whatever gives us peace. She took his hand. Thank you. For what? For putting us first. Always. The settlement was signed 1 week later. Victor dropped the lawsuit. Grant dropped his. Victor agreed to pay $50,000 a year in child support until Sky turned 18. Plus a $200,000 trust fund. In return, Grant agreed not to pursue any further legal action. It wasn't perfect. But it was over. That night, they celebrated. Not with champagne. Not with fancy dinners. Just pizza. Ice cream. Movies. The three of them. On the couch. Sky fell asleep halfway through. Grant carried her to bed. When he came back, Elara was standing by the window. Actually standing. Hey, he said. She turned. Smiled. Hey. What are you thinking? That a year ago, I was ready to give up. And now, she looked at the ring on her finger, now I have everything. He walked over. Wrapped his arms around her. So do I. She turned in his arms. When should we get married? Whenever you want. She smiled. Next month. That fast? I've waited 12 years. That's long enough. He laughed. Fair enough. She kissed him. I love you, Grant Reed. I love you, Elara. Soon to be Elara Reed. He smiled. I like the sound of that. Me too. They stood there. Holding each other. Two people who'd lost everything. And found it all again. The wedding was small. Intimate. No ballrooms. No hundreds of guests. Just the foundation's courtyard. Decorated with lights and flowers. 50 people. Maybe less. The ones who mattered. The morning of the wedding, Grant woke up in his apartment. Alone. Elara had insisted. Bad luck to see the bride before the ceremony. He'd argued. Lost. Now he stood in front of the mirror. Adjusting his tie. His phone buzzed. A text from Sky. Dad, are you nervous? He smiled. Typed back. Terrified. Good. That means you love her. He laughed. This kid. See you soon, kiddo. See you soon, Dad. At the foundation, Elara sat in front of a mirror. Caroline was doing her hair. Simple. Elegant. Pulled back softly. Her dress was white. Not extravagant. Just beautiful. Sky sat beside her. Already in her flower girl dress. Pale pink. Mommy, you look like a princess. Elara smiled. Thank you, baby. Are you nervous? A little. Why? You love him. Elara looked at her daughter. I do. But what if I mess it up? Sky took her hand. You won't. How do you know? Because Dad won't let you. And I won't let you. We're a team. Elara's eyes filled with tears. Caroline handed her a tissue. Don't cry yet. You'll ruin your makeup. Elara laughed. Too late. An hour later, guests began arriving. Marcus. Thomas. The therapist. The families from the foundation. People whose lives had been changed by the red bicycle. They filled the courtyard. Smiling. Talking quietly. Grant stood at the altar. Hands clasped. Heart pounding. Marcus stood beside him. Best man. You ready? Grant nodded. Been ready for 12 years. You look like you're going to pass out. I might. Marcus laughed. Don't. Elara would kill me. The music started. Everyone stood. Sky walked down the aisle first. Red petals in her basket. Matching the red bicycle parked at the front. She smiled at Grant. Whispered. Don't cry yet. He laughed. Wiped his eyes. Then the music changed. Everyone turned. And there she was. Elara. Walking. No wheelchair. No walker. Just walking. Down the aisle. Slowly. Carefully. But walking. Caroline walked beside her. Arm linked. Supporting without carrying. Grant's breath left his body. She was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. Not because of the dress. Not because of the makeup. Because she was walking toward him. Choosing him. After everything. She reached the altar. Caroline kissed her cheek. Whispered something. Elara nodded. Smiled. Then Caroline stepped back. Elara stood in front of Grant. He stared at her. She smiled. Hi. Hi. You're staring. I know. It's creepy. I don't care. She laughed. The officiant cleared his throat. Shall we begin? The ceremony was short. Simple vows. No long speeches. Just promises. When it was Grant's turn, he took Elara's hands. 12 years ago, I thought I lost you. And for a long time, I believed that was the end of my story. He paused. But then I met a little girl in the rain. Selling her bike. Refusing to beg. And she led me back to you. Elara's eyes glistened. You taught me that love isn't about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about fighting. Surviving. Believing. His voice cracked. So I promise you, I will fight for you. Every single day. I will stand beside you. Walk with you. And when you can't walk, I'll carry you. Tears streamed down her face. I will love you. Not because it's easy. But because it's worth it. He squeezed her hands. You're worth it. The officiant turned to Elara. She took a breath. Grant. I don't have fancy words. I'm not good at speeches. She smiled through tears. But I know this. You saved me. Not just from poverty. Not just from Victor. You saved me from myself. Her voice shook. You showed me that I was worth fighting for. That sky was worth fighting for. That our life was worth fighting for. She paused. I spent 10 years thinking I was broken. That I'd never be whole again. But you didn't see me that way. You saw me as I was. And you loved me anyway. She wiped her eyes. So I promise you, I will love you with everything I have. I will trust you. Believe in you. Stand beside you. She smiled. And when you're old and gray and tired, I'll remind you that you once bought a red bicycle from a little girl in the rain. And that bicycle changed everything. Grant laughed. Crying. The officiant smiled. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Grant pulled Elara close. Kissed her. Deep. Tender. 12 years in a single kiss. 12 years. One red bicycle. One little girl who refused to beg. And now this. If you're crying right now, welcome to the club. Hit subscribe because you're part of this family now, and families stick together. Tell me in the comments, what moment in this story broke you the most? Was it the rain? The bike? The walk down the aisle? I want to hear your story. Everyone clapped. Sky screamed. They did it. The reception was simple. Tables. Food. Music. But the joy was enormous. People danced. Laughed. Celebrated. At one point, Grant pulled Elara onto the dance floor. What are you doing? She asked. You said when you walked again, you'd dance with me. I'm not a good dancer. Neither am I. He pulled her close. They swayed slowly. Her head on his chest. His arms around her. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For not giving up on me. Never. They danced in silence. Then Sky ran over. Can I dance too? Grant picked her up. Held her between them. The three of them danced. A family. Finally complete. Later that night, after everyone left, they sat in the courtyard. Just the three of them. Sky was asleep on Grant's lap. Elara leaned against his shoulder. "I can't believe we did it," she said. "Did what?" "Got married. Built a foundation. Survived everything." He kissed her head. "We didn't just survive. We thrived." She smiled. "I like that." They sat in silence. The red bicycle sat nearby, shining in the moonlight. Grant looked at it. "You know what's crazy?" "What?" "That bike. That one moment. Changed everything." Elara nodded. "It did. If Sky hadn't been there that day. But she was." He looked at Sky. Sleeping peacefully. "Yeah. She was." Elara took his hand. "Do you think we would have found each other anyway?" He thought for a moment. "I don't know. But I'm glad we don't have to find out." She smiled. "Me too." They sat there. The courtyard quiet. The night peaceful. Two people who'd lost everything. And found it all again. Not because of luck. Not because of fate. But because a little girl refused to beg. And a man refused to look away. The next morning, they woke up in Grant's apartment. Their apartment now. Sky was already awake. Making pancakes. Badly. Grant walked into the kitchen. "What are you doing?" "Making breakfast. For the newlyweds." Elara wheeled in. Laughing. "This should be interesting." Sky flipped a pancake. It landed on the floor. "Oops." Grant picked it up. "Nice try, kid. I'll get better." "I know you will." They sat down. Ate slightly burned pancakes. Laughed. Talked. Planned. At one point, Sky looked at them. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything," Grant said. "Are we going to be okay? Forever?" Elara reached across the table. Took her hand. "Yeah, baby. We're going to be okay. Promise?" Grant took her other hand. "Promise." Sky smiled. "Good. Because I like this. Us. Together." Elara's eyes filled with tears. "Me too." Grant nodded. "Me too." They sat there. A family. Built not from blood. But from choice. And that made it even more real. That afternoon, they went to the foundation. The sign out front had been updated. The Red Bicycle Foundation. Founded by Elara and Grant Reed. Elara stared at it. "Reed," she whispered. Grant wrapped his arm around her. "Get used to it." She smiled. "I think I will." They walked inside. The place was full. Families. Kids. Volunteers. People living. Thriving. Surviving. Because of one red bicycle. Sky ran ahead. Helping a little girl pick out a bike. Grant watched her. "She's going to change the world." Elara nodded. "She already has." He looked at her. "So have you." She shook her head. "We did it together." "Together," he repeated. They stood there. Watching their daughter. Watching their foundation. Watching their life unfold. And Grant realized something. He'd spent 12 years building an empire. But this, right here, was his legacy. Not the money. Not the success. This. A family. A purpose. A life worth living. 6 months after the wedding, something changed. Not bad. Just different. Grant stood in his office, looking at a letter. An offer. To buy his company. $200 million. Life-changing money. Even for him. He stared at the number. Thought about what it meant. Security. Forever. For Elara. For Sky. For the foundation. He picked up his phone. Called Thomas. I got the offer. And? I'm thinking about it. Thomas was quiet. You've built this company from nothing. I know. You'd be walking away from everything. Not everything. Just the business. What would you do instead? Grant looked out the window. At the city below. I'd live. That evening, he came home late. Elara was reading on the couch. Sky was asleep. She looked up. You okay? He sat beside her. I got an offer today. For what? To sell the company. Her eyes widened. What? 200 million. She stared at him. That's life-changing. I know. What did you say? Nothing yet. I wanted to talk to you first. She set down her book. What do you want to do? He leaned back. I don't know. Part of me wants to take it. Retire. Spend time with you and Sky. And the other part? The other part feels like I'd be giving up. Like I'd be quitting. She took his hand. You wouldn't be quitting. You'd be choosing. Choosing what? A different life. One where you're not working 80 hours a week. Where you're here. Present. With us. He looked at her. You want me to take it. I want you to do what makes you happy. You make me happy. She smiled. Then the answer's easy. He pulled her close. Is it? Yeah. It is. The next morning, Grant called Thomas. I'm taking the offer. Silence. You're sure? I'm sure. Grant, you know once you sign. I know. And I'm okay with it. Thomas sighed. All right. I'll draw up the papers. Thanks, Thomas. Grant? Yeah. For what it's worth, I think you're making the right choice. Grant smiled. So do I. 2 weeks later, the sale was finalized. Grant walked out of the office for the last time. No employees. No meetings. No deals. Just him. And a check for $200 million. He sat in his car. Stared at the building. 12 years of his life. And now it was over. He felt nothing. No regret. No sadness. Just peace. He drove home. When he walked in, Elara was in the kitchen. Making dinner. Walking. Moving. Living. She turned. Smiled. How'd it go? He held up the check. Done. She walked over. Looked at it. That's a lot of zeros. Yeah. How do you feel? He thought for a moment. Free. She wrapped her arms around him. Good. They stood there. Holding each other. Then Sky ran in. Dad. You're home early. He picked her up. Yeah. And I'm going to be home early every day now. Her eyes went wide. Really? Really? Does that mean you can come to my school play? He laughed. When is it? Next Thursday. 2 o'clock. I'll be there. She hugged him. Promise? Promise. That night, after Sky went to bed, Grant and Elara sat on the balcony. The city stretched out below them. But for once, Grant wasn't looking at it. He was looking at her. "You know what's funny?" he said. "What?" "A year ago, I had everything. Money. Success. Power. But I felt empty." She took his hand. "And now?" "Now I have less. But I feel full." She smiled. "That's because money can't buy what matters." "What matters?" She looked at him. "This. Us. Sky. The foundation. Waking up next to someone you love. Going to bed knowing you made a difference." He squeezed her hand. "You're right. I usually am." He laughed. "Don't get cocky." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "What are you going to do now? With all that free time?" "I don't know. Maybe travel. Maybe just be present. Maybe teach Sky how to ride a bike without training wheels. She already knows how. Then I'll teach her something else." Elara smiled. "Like what?" "Like how to be kind. How to fight for what's right. How to never give up." "I think she already knows that too." "Then I'll remind her." Every day. They sat in silence. The night was cool. Peaceful. Finally, Elara spoke. "Grant?" "Yeah?" "Do you regret it? Selling the company?" He shook his head. "Not even a little." "Why not?" He turned to face her. "Because I realized something. I spent 12 years chasing success. Trying to prove I was enough. Trying to fill a hole that money couldn't fill." He paused. "But you filled it. You and Sky. You showed me what I was missing." Her eyes filled with tears. "What were you missing?" "A reason to come home." She pulled him close. Kissed him. When they broke apart, she whispered, "I love you. I love you too. Forever? Forever." 3 months later, the foundation expanded. A second location. Then a third. Elara ran them all. Grant helped. But mostly, he watched. Watched his wife thrive. Watched his daughter grow. Watched families transform. One afternoon, a woman approached him at the foundation. She was young. Maybe 25. Holding a little boy's hand. "Excuse me. Are you Mr. Reed?" He nodded. "Just Grant." She smiled. "I wanted to thank you." "For what?" 2 years ago, my son and I were homeless. We came here. Got a bike. Got food. Got hope." Her voice cracked. "Now I have a job. An apartment. A future. Because of this place." Grant's throat tightened. "You did that. Not me." She shook her head. "No. You gave me the chance. And that's everything." She walked away. Grant stood there. And he realized something. This, right here, was what success looked like. Not the money. Not the power. This. Changing lives. One bicycle at a time. That evening, they took Sky to the park. The same park where Elara had walked for the first time. She rode her red bicycle. The original one. Still shining. Grant and Elara sat on the bench. Watching her. "She's growing up," Elara said. "Too fast. What are we going to do when she's older?" "Same thing we're doing now. Love her. Support her. Let her know we're here." Elara smiled. "You're good at this. Being a dad. I learned from the best." "Who?" "My mom. And you." She rested her head on his shoulder. "We make a good team." The best. Sky rode over. Out of breath. Smiling. Did you see how fast I went? Grant laughed. You were flying. I want to race tomorrow. At the foundation. Then we'll race. She hugged him. Thanks, Dad. He held her. Anytime, kiddo. She ran back to her bike. Elara watched her. You know what I realized? What? She's not selling her bike anymore. She's riding it. Living. Being a kid. Grant nodded. That's all I ever wanted. For her to be a kid. For both of you to be free. Elara looked at him. We are. Because of you. He shook his head. Because of us. Later that night, after Sky went to bed, Grant pulled out his laptop. Opened the letter he'd written months ago. To Sky. He read it. Smiled. Then added one more line. P.S. The best thing I ever bought was a red bicycle. Because it brought me to you. He saved it. Closed the laptop. Walked to the bedroom. Elara was already asleep. He climbed in beside her. She stirred. You okay? Yeah. Just thinking. About what? He pulled her close. About how lucky I am. She smiled. Eyes still closed. We both are. He kissed her forehead. Good night. Good night. The next morning, the sun rose. Grant woke up to the sound of laughter. Sky was already awake. Making breakfast again. Still badly. But with love. He walked into the kitchen. Elara was there. Helping. They looked up. Smiled. Morning, Dad. Morning. He sat down. Watched them. His wife. His daughter. His family. And he realized something. He'd spent years searching for success. For validation. For proof that he mattered. But none of that mattered anymore. Because he'd found what he was really looking for. A home. Not a house. Not a place. But people. People who loved him. Not for what he had. But for who he was. Sky placed a plate in front of him. Pancakes. Burned. I made these for you. He smiled. They're perfect. They're burned. They're perfect because you made them. She beamed. Elara sat beside him. Took his hand. They ate breakfast. Talked. Laughed. Planned their day. And Grant realized. This was it. This was what money couldn't buy. Not the pancakes. Not the apartment. Not even the foundation. But this moment. This feeling. This love. And as the morning light streamed through the window, Grant closed his eyes. Said a silent thank you. To his mother. For teaching him to fight. To Elara. For teaching him to love. To Sky. For teaching him to hope. And to that rainy day. When a little girl stood beside a red bicycle. And changed everything.